How's it doing? It's doing well. Yeah, that's it. What day is this? Does it show me? Gee, the 8th of... Is that it? Wow. So the 8th of May. 8th of May 2022. That was the first day I ever met Bob. You know, I wonder how I bowled here. Bob got a strike. That's crazy. That bowling looks great. You know, Hiroshi Tommy. To think, oh, my friend's exposed. Haha. That roll's great. There he is. He got a strike too. Sky man. Emily's bowling for left hand. Yeah, no, I'm looking at that again. Just the way Dani's bowling here. My bowling has not really changed. My bowling has not changed. Okay, no, it has. But I mean, just the way Dani walks up to the shot, it's very much like you see Barbara these days. The ball did pop out his hand though. Wow. That's crazy. That's May 2022. So my first experience of bowling. I don't know if it's my first ever experience. It's my first experience of it in a video game. It must have been sometime between 2000. No, I'm sure it was 2008. Because when Wii Sports Resort came out, I saw it and immediately said, I want this game. I'm sure we got that in 2010 though, but yeah, first experience with Wii Sports, with a Wii Sports game, would have been with the original, as far back as 2008 at the earliest. And my favourite sport in that game was bowling. I've been playing that sport for, I don't know. Hold on, let me do this quick. Let's simplify it. Let's simplify it and say I've been playing bowling in a Wii Sports game for at least 15 years. I can't tell you how I played back then, but I can tell you that I enjoyed playing this one so much that I would just keep playing it. Wii Sports Resort came out, and I played it in that game as well. It's odd, it's funny because, as I've heard from other people as well, in that game, the motion feels different. So, a lot of the time I've noticed that, saying this now is quite funny, I noticed a lot of the time when I'd throw the ball, or when I'd swing the Wii remote for the character to throw the ball in Wii Sports Resort, the ball would hook more. In Wii Sports, the ball was able to stay straight. And in both games, I'm using the manual method where you let go of the B button. In Wii Sports Resort, even if you use the manual method, the ball will just hook more than it does in Wii Sports. At least with me doing what I think is the exact same motion. So it did take me a while to warm up to that, but I kept playing Wii Sports Resort, and I kept playing bowling in it. There are other sports that I play, but I really liked wakeboarding. That was probably my favourite one. But bowling, again, I played that sport a lot. Wii Sports Resort. It would even just be me on my own. I'd have so many me characters. A lot of them would just be recreations of Super Mario characters. I'd have a game of bowling where you have Mario, Luigi, Peach, and probably not Daisy, but let's just say Daisy for simplicity. You just have those 4 characters, and I'd swing the Wii remote for each of the 4 characters. and just use my imagination to say, oh look, he's got a strike, or just something like that. And I do that because it was fun. For me, that was fun. And because I didn't have anyone else to play the game with at the time. But even in recent times, I still remember a time where I wanted to get the family to play Wii Sports with me. We played bowling, and it only lasted about 2 minutes or something like that, and then everyone just got distracted, and it was sad because I wanted to play. Not because I wanted to show off, but I don't think it was that. I just wanted to play Wii Sports Bowling because it's not something I played that often. I think this was 2021, so Nintendo Switch Sports wasn't even a game publicly released at this point. So we lost Wii Sports results somehow, and I never had a full copy of Wii Sports Club, so Wii Sports was the best thing we had, and I didn't like it as much, but I said, yeah, I want to play this game. And I was in a house where it's quite hard to play games on your own, so at least if everyone wanted to play Wii Sports, that would be good. But it lasted about 2 minutes, and then that was it. I was sad, because I like playing that game. I like playing bowling, like I said. So if I can't play with the others, I make it up, use my imagination, have fun playing bowling. Now, I did say it was funny how I mentioned Wii Sports Resort and how the ball hooks a little bit when you swing the Wii remote in that game, for that game, sorry. I did play Wii Sports Club, I didn't mention that, but only the demo. And again, I don't think I played any other sport. I may have played tennis, that might have been the only other one, but I just played bowling. I know I played a lot of bowling for the week that I got to play the game for, and then that was it. Just Wii Sports Resort until I lost that game, and then very occasionally I go back to Wii Sports, but very occasionally, because no one to play it with, and I spent a lot of time with online friends, and that's not a game you can play online. Entering the teenage years, didn't play too many games on my own as often. I've slowly returned to that. But with teenage years, well, to be fair, teenage years is when I entered social media. Before then, social media was just, what is this thing? You must avoid it at all costs. Sorry. I'm struggling to breathe. What are we saying? We are saying that, well, that's important. We're saying that teenage years entered social media, so not much solo time with video games. So Wii Sports just went, started playing that game. But it's a game that I go back to because I really enjoyed playing it. And the one sport, like I said, it would be bowling. So then this game comes out, right? Or it comes out. I see it in the newsfeed for me on the Nintendo Switch. I'm thinking, what? Are they trying to bring this back? What is this? Nintendo Switch? What? And there's not even the Mii character. What's going on? I don't know if I want this, It was, I was not. I don't know if I was not impressed. I think I was just confused as to why they brought the game back. Wii Sports Club was released, I believe, in 2013. So you're looking at 9 years without a Wii Sports game. And they couldn't even call it Wii Sports because it's not even for a Wii console. So they had to call it Nintendo Switch Sports. And I just said, yeah, but Nintendo Switch Sports doesn't sound right. And you can't even call it Switch Sports because it just doesn't sound right either. So I'm just going to call it fake Wii Sports, because that's basically what it is. It's trying to be Wii Sports, but it's really not. But it's a Nintendo Switch version of Wii Sports. So for a while I looked at fake Wii Sports and said, actually I didn't even look at it. I saw it on the feed and that was it. I didn't give it a second look. And then I go downstairs and I see my dad and my sister playing Nintendo Switch Sports. And what are they playing? They're playing bowling. They're playing bowling. I'm looking at it thinking, wow, the music sounds good, you know. It sounds peaceful, I like it. The graphics look good. The game looks good. And I've seen the sports mates for the first time. They look alright. They don't look bad. You know what? I actually want to play this now. And looking back, it makes sense that I want to play it because it's bowling and it's Wii Sports. I absolutely loved bowling and Wii Sports. Specifically bowling in Wii Sports. So, of course, I see them playing it. This is the same game that I said, fake Wii Sports, why do I want to play this? And now I'm drawn to playing it. So, I try and make a character. Oh wait, but I don't have any Wii's on this console because it's actually not my console, but I'm playing it on. So, okay, we'll come up with something. Okay, well, I can't get a short hairstyle for Dani because it doesn't exist. These hairstyles are so basic. Alright, we'll just make this and call him fake Dani because he's not really Dani, and he's smiling as well. It's all wrong. Fake Dani. Now, I'm playing this game for the first time, and I can't really guarantee it, I don't remember, but I'm quite certain that in that very first session I got a strike. At least once. And why? Because I thought to myself, okay, well, I probably swung for the first... you know what? I actually think the very first roll that fake Dani had was a strike. I'm not making this, I'm quite certain it was a strike. I'm thinking to myself, you know, it probably was, and I was just thinking, wait, I got a strike, really? That sort of thing. I'm sure, because what does my brain remember? It remembers Wii Sports Resort. But that's the most recent game before Nintendo Switch Sports that I remember playing a lot of. So I didn't think it would have the odd sort of controls like Wii Sports. I thought it would play a bit more like Wii Sports Resort. And like we just said, I played a lot of bowling in that game. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, we'll probably play like Wii Sports Resort, so let's try this, and then boom, I get a strike. Or Dani gets a strike. Or Dani. Anyway. So after that session, I effectively borrowed the game from my dad and my sister because I really want to get into it. And as you saw, Mr. Raoul, he also has the game. And this game has online play, which Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort did not have. Wii Sports Club had it, but I barely played that game. So up to this point, I've only ever played Wii Sports Bowling on my own. So as you saw in the opening clip, I play a session with my friend. This actually isn't the first session. This isn't when I met Barbara, because I think Dani's wearing glasses, yeah. Dani's wearing glasses. I first met Barbara, Dani didn't have glasses because I didn't know you could get them. And then when I saw Barbara, I thought, she just looks like me. What's going on? She's even got my glasses. Not Dani's glasses. Dani's glasses are actually round like Siobhán's glasses. But my glasses in real life are just like Barbara's. As I said, I need to get Barbara's glasses. So that's what we did. And now we got not fake Dani, we got regular Dani, although Dani still has long hair and he shouldn't. But that's irrelevant. I got this screenshot here, and again this is from 8th of May, This is the session, some sessions after the one with Barbara. It's funny how Tomoko and Siobhán are there. That's crazy. Dani's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikes. A lot of split 8s, which is kind of funny because that makes me think that perhaps he kept bowling down the middle, but he also kept getting pins number, what's it, 4 and 6, so he ended up with a straight 8 split. That's what I'm guessing. There are a lot of 8 splits, but there are 5 strikes, and I've only been playing Nintendo Switch Sports at this point for a few months, because I got all those years of Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort experience that getting a strike isn't really that hard, because I already have the experience needed to know how to get it. You know what's funny? Okay, never mind. So I'm looking at the next screenshot. It's a play globally session. And then he gets 189 points. Trying to look. Looking for a good screenshot. Is this no, this is an online game, okay. When's this from? 11th of June. So assuming that I played the game first in March 2022, it takes us 3 months to end up with the score of 259 points. You know how to get 259 points. You need to get at least 2 spares and 10 strikes. And that's the way I've always got it in. That gives you 259. This is in an online game, played globally, survival bowling session. Only 3 months, and the guy's got 259. I'm looking for it. What am I looking for? Is this the next screenshot? Yes, it is. Is this the same day? No, it's not. It's a few days later. The guy gets 279, which is 11 strikes. This looks like trial mode. No, it's not trial mode. I can see that though. But yeah, 279. That's only 1 strike away from 300. And I've only been playing the game for 3 months, and I've never played this well in Wii Sports Resort. Wii Sports Resort never played this well. I don't know how. Yeah, I know I was surprised. That's why I took the screenshot. I don't know how Dani got 279, and only a few days after getting 279, we're looking at a week apart, but somehow the guy's got 279. Let's keep looking. To be honest, it doesn't get much better than 279. Although I have another, look at his eye, screenshot. No, the sportsmate that I used to bowl as a sportsmate, I mean, it's like she's my character, but she's not, but she's just someone else. But I played with her. When I played with her though, I'd use her left hand. I'd use my left hand and give her the left hand setting. So she bowls with her left hand. And there's the score 222. Again, I never really played with my left hand. So again, it's like we're just looking at the 15 years of experience. And then the amount of experience we've already had for this game. We're applying that to get a left-handed character over 200. In the space of, how long is this? Yeah, no, this is still June 2022. Just keep scrolling. I can see yellow got 259. Is that? Oh, it's not Barbara, that's Abby. 259. In terms of school, well, what's this now? When's this? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's only been since last year that I got 300. So this screenshot is from 2024. So all the others are from 2022. It's quite interesting how it takes less than half a year to come up with the scores 259, 279, but it's not for another 2 years until Dani gets 300 for the first time. Although I think this is after Michaela got 300. So if we're breaking the full 4, at this point, this is the third time that I've gotten 300. But all of those times happened between March and April 2024. And that's it really, because after that, you just get a bunch of Barbara, and you've seen Barbara, and she's gotten 300 several times at this point. Trying to tie this in with the topic of the video. The topic of the video is supposed to be about ranks. What is it? It goes something like this. Don't work for the ranks work for you. How do the ranks work for you? And let's look at it like this. You see Barbara's rank is whatever it is. It's in the S range. Why is Barbara's rank in the S range? Barbara's rank's in the S range. If we're to break the full 4 again, she's in the S range because I'm controlling Barbara. And I'm the same person who, as we've discussed, had 15 years, over 15 years of experience between Wii Sports Resort, and this game. Enough experience that within, 3 months of having Nintendo Switch Sports, we can get a score of 279 by chaining 11 strikes, but getting a total of 11 strikes in one session to get 279. We've done that because of the level of experience that we've gained over the 15 years. And because we've gained that much experience, when Barbara started the Pro League, she started at E and she made her way smoothly up to S. I think as far as S5. It's only once she got to S5 that she started to go down. And why did she go down? Because she didn't have the amount of experience that she needed to go beyond S5. But that's not the important part. Only is depends how you look at it. But the thing that I want to focus on is the fact that Barbara went from E to S5 without any major problems. Sorry, I'm getting stuck. So this isn't scripted. Right. Barbara gets from E to S5. Yeah. What we're trying to focus on is the fact that Barbara's rank just keeps going up. Barbara is just doing what Barbara knows how to do. Again, to break the 4-4. I'm just bowling with Barbara the way that I would always bowl. Or not always, but if I were to just play the game casually, this is how I'm bowling. I'm not doing anything, not trying to do anything beyond my limits. Of course, some special lanes require you to learn new stuff, but I'm just playing the game casually. I'm not trying. You try to get strikes right, but it's not really you trying if you already know how to do it. You just do what you've always been doing. You don't need to try if you know how to do it. It's what we talk about when we say the Tomoko. Tomoko just throws the ball, and whatever happens, happens. But Tomoko's so experienced that a lot of the time she also gets spares, but a lot of the time she does get strikes. Maybe the first time we see her, she looks so calm and composed. Of course, that's partially because of her character design, but we think in that session she finished with 299 points because she kept that composure throughout the game. She's just able to throw the ball and get the strikes without really having to think, and that's how Barbara went from E to S5. she didn't have to think too hard because she already knew what she was doing to get herself that far. Not even to get herself that far, she's just playing so that I can get the items to help recreate her friends. To simplify it, we're just playing for the items. And survival bowling is one of the easiest ways to get items. Oh no, let's rephrase that. Survival bowling, if it's got the double points, if there's an event for survival bowling, sorry, let's rephrase that. If there's an event for bowling or golf, those two sports are the best ones to play because they're the ones where you can get the most points after finishing a session. They're most rewarding. So that's the main reason why we always played bowling online, even before the Pro League project. But when we came up with that idea, the idea was based on the fact that we'd already reached the S rank before, and I guess to talk about us reaching the S rank before, we'd also need to go back to oh, you know what's funny actually? I'm seeing this other screenshot where Dani's rank is C+, and Barbara's there. But his score's only 202. And what that tells me is that it's only after Barbara, it's only after Dani scored at 300 that we actually turned on the Pro League setting. It's almost like at that point we said, you know what? Let's give this a try. And the reason I did that is because I felt like, as much as I may have also seen a little tip for it, you probably would get something in the game if you got to S rank. The game actually says if you get to the A rank. The game says if you get to the A rank, you may get a little reward. You'll get something if you reach the A rank. So I said, well, if I'm going to reach the A rank for any sport, it's going to be bowling, because I already have experience in bowling. Like we said, over 15 years worth, and then within 3 months I've seen Dani with 271 because I already know how to get the strikes like that. So my brain's saying, if we're going to go for the Pro League, let's go with what we know. Let's just see what happens. I didn't know, and I was planning not to know what the highest rank was. I just wanted to play the game and see what happens. So I didn't know about Infinity Rank. That didn't exist in my head. Never encountered anyone with that rank because I've never played rank. The game's been out for 2 years. You've probably seen many people with their Road to Infinity Rank series, and here I am, 2024, playing in the Pro League for the first time. I need to see what the thing was. And then I think it was Tomoko. She got my Spocker Square Plus from B plus to S. I guess because we played that. That's what Rohan said. He said if you play well and you play better than players ranked higher, then your rank goes higher once you pass B plus. So when Blue Eyes played basketball, she only went from B plus to A25, but when Barbara played bowling, she went from B plus to S3. And that's because, Barbara, you're gonna pick against Luoma, and Luoma's always been S. She's been playing games with players like Luoma and winning them, no effort at all. Again, that's what he said, Barbara doesn't have to try. Barbara and Luoma fairly matched. I'd say they're not evenly matched. I think Luoma's better than Barbara. I don't know Luoma's technique, but I know that in terms of gameplay, they can finish with even similar amounts of points, but usually Luoma tends to outclass Barbara. which is usually because of me, because I'm not good with the psychological side of the sport. So yeah, I can get the strikes, but can I keep cool? And it's harder to keep cool when 1, you're playing with other players, and 2, Luoma's using his stumps like that. Well, that's different. Leave Luoma alone and do what he wants. And we're talking about the fact that, Barbara's just playing the game the way Barbara knows how to play, and her rank just goes up because she has the experience to take the rank. It's only once the rank reaches a point that her experience hasn't gotten to yet, if that makes sense, then her rank goes down. That's why every time Barbara's reached S6, her rank has gone back down to S5 and below further. Because Barbara's level of experience isn't enough to take her past S6. So that won't happen until Barbara keeps playing. The more Barbara plays, the more Barbara's, more knowledge of the sport Barbara will have the opportunity to gain. Keep in mind, just because you play the sport, it doesn't mean you will learn something new, but you will gain some kind of experience, even if it's just another run of throwing the ball 12 times. That's still something, that's still an experience. So you gain an experience every time you play. And with every experience, you have an opportunity to learn something new. So the more you play, the more likely you are to learn something. And as we've seen, the 15 years of playing bowling and Wii Sports games has gotten us to the S rank without really having to do anything. I could start again with another account, or I could reset Dani's records, and we get back to S without trying again, because it's not a case of, oh, Dani's just that good, so of course Dani's rank will go up. It's not about you're that good, it's more about the amount of experience that I have to perform certain skills. I have the amount of experience that makes it such that Dani's rank goes up. If that makes sense, it's like when you start the Pro League, the game doesn't know how good you are. You have to show the game your ability by playing matches. And so your ability, if the game knew your ability before you started the Pro League, let's say your rank would be S5, but at the moment you start the Pro League, your rank isn't S5 because the game doesn't have any data to imply that your rank, to suggest that your rank is S5. So you have to keep playing so that the game recognizes, oh, actually your rank is all the way up here. What are you doing with the rank E? Let's get you up. So the more you play, the more your rank goes up. Until your rank actually reaches the level of experience that you have as a player. So, as a player, Barbara's amount of experience, or her relative experience, because there are different ways to get the rank. It's not like everyone with Barbara's rank plays the same. There are different ways to play, and the game only measures your level of experience by your rank compared to other players. It's not necessarily about your score or about how many strikes you get. It's more about how well you perform against everyone else. That's what determines your rank, as far as I'm able to tell. Yeah, because the game where Barbara did get 300, more recently, that was the first time Barbara ever did it, because Dani and Barbara looked the same. So I got confused. Yeah, no, the first time Barbara did it in a Play Globally session, her rank barely moved up. because the other players weren't ranked higher. It doesn't matter if you get 300, if you get 200, or if you get 100. The fact is, you've won the game, and the other players are ranked higher than you, so your rank goes up by a lot. Or if they're ranked lower, it goes up by less. That's how it works. But that's the point. The game doesn't actually determine your level of experience by the things that you do, like how you get your strikes to different range. How you get your strikes, the different techniques that you use, how many strikes that you get, what your final scores are. The game doesn't use those to rank you. It only uses, as far as I understand, your final positions in the game compared to everyone else. So, just because Barbara is S5, it doesn't mean that her level of experience is the same as someone else who's also S5. Maybe they use even more advanced techniques than Barbara, or maybe their techniques are actually even more basic than Barbara. But it still gets them the strikes, the same way Barbara gets her strikes. So their rank is the same because they're able to finish with similar scores and at a similar rate. Because remember, Barbara doesn't always finish with over 200 points. So the game, the rank isn't your level, it's only your relative level of experience. That's very important to keep in mind as well. What else can we say? Because I've lost track. Yes, your rank is only your level, only your relative level of experience. Oh, this is interesting because Rohan left a comment on one of the bowling sessions that Yellow was playing in. And what he said was, Yellow, he says me, because, he knows I'm the player. He says that I bowl at a higher level than my rank suggests. I think I misinterpreted what he said. But he's looking at Yellow's bowling and he's saying, this guy's only S3. What? Are you serious? This guy's really good. You can't tell me this guy's just S3. He's seeing a very talented bowler when he's watching Yellow's gameplay. I actually interpreted this as, okay, so he's saying that my rank isn't actually my level of experience. So does that mean that I can actually get my rank higher? Well, not necessarily. Because what Rohan's saying doesn't necessarily mean that I can get my rank up. Because the game only measures your rank by your performances in survival bowling sessions. It doesn't measure your amount of experience as a bowler in that game. So you see, when I play offline, I tend to bowl a lot better. I also tend to experiment more, but I tend to bowl a lot better than I do online because of social pressure and things like that. But also not every game is a 300, for example. You see, yeah, I do like mentioning her because she's great. She's honestly great. You've seen it with PowerAnnie, where she'll get eliminated in the first round, and we know PowerAnnie is so much better than that. But she just has a bad game. She just makes the wrong judgment at the wrong time, and therefore she doesn't get the stuff. Like, she'll get splits quite often, especially in the special lanes. With the special lanes she'll get splits, and then that's it. Her game's gone. But she's great. Again, like what Rohan said about my bowling, that's what I'd say about her. I've actually said she is one of the greatest bowlers I've seen in this game. There's only one other person I can nominate over her, which is BK, but excluding him, PowerAnnie is who I nominate as the best bowler in the game. You watch her play, yeah, she doesn't always perform great, but I know that she has great skill, because from what I've seen, whenever I spectate her, or whenever we get the chance to spectate, her bowling is amazing. But her rank has either been at Barbara's or lower. I don't think I've seen her rank higher than Barbara's. That doesn't mean that she's worse, because again, the game only measures relative skill. It doesn't measure the different use of techniques and things like that. So, going back to what Rohan said, just because he says that I'm bowling, like, I don't know, just because he says that our skill is better than what our rank suggests, it doesn't necessarily mean that our rank can go up. He's just saying that we're a good bowler. So we went through the effort to try and get our rank up. It actually just went down. I think we got up to S6 and we went back down again. Well, that's what I remember. Which is funny because this is exactly what happened with Barbara. Twice, I think. S6, back down again. I don't really have much to say. It's like, that's just what, in terms of the game and its relative, its method of assessing your relative skill. We're not getting past S6 right now, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being capped, because that's what the rank is for. The rank is just, okay, so let's see how good you are. Keep playing and we'll assess your ability based on what you show us. And then based on that, the game pairs you with similar players so that you can have a good competition. There's nothing better. There's nothing better. I'd say, using typical phrases, there's nothing better than watching Barbara versus PowerAnnie, because both of them are evenly matched. So often when you do see those two play together, you're thinking to yourself, who's going to win? Because you don't actually know, because they're both just as good as each other. Barbara and Luoma, again, those two usually have great matches together because they're evenly matched. And what's interesting is Barbara, PowerAnnie, Luoma, they all have similar ranks. So what the rank is actually there to do is it's just there to say, okay, so based on your gameplay, this is your relative amount of experience. I'm just using the same words after. We think that you have this amount of experience as a bowler. Your experience isn't much higher, so it's not like the game's not going to give you players that are significantly higher, so they're not going to give you Infinity Rank players, unless there's absolutely no one else playing. It's going to give you Infinity Rank players because their skill, their relative skill is not higher than yours. They have more experience than you have as a bowler, so it wouldn't be as fair as a game if they gave you those players. And that's what the rank is there for. Although funnily enough, you can be as low as E and you get S rank players. It is funny. It does happen. And then you get the advanced special lanes, and you're thinking, what? But I'm just a rookie. What are you getting me to do? I understand. I relate. I do relate to them. But that's where I guess the matchmaking goes wrong. But a lot of the time it works. A lot of the time you do get just players around your rank, and that means that the competition you can have can be good because all of you are evenly matched. I mean, that's provided that your rank is actually, that's provided that your rank matches your relative skill. Because if it doesn't, and it's actually lower, then you're still far better than everyone else. As Barbara has shown, when her rank was all the way down there, we knew Barbara wasn't an E rank player, and she's actually an S rank player, but her rank hasn't gone up yet, so the contest isn't as balanced because her rank hasn't gone up. But then her rank goes up, and then she starts to have close contests because her level of experience is similar to her opponents. It's like it's no surprise that at that point Barbara doesn't win every game. And we've seen it with Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes' track record when she was playing basketball was 90%. I think she only lost one game, I think, before she reached the A rank. Because her opponents didn't have as much experience as Blue Eyes did before Blue Eyes reached the A rank. Of course, after Blue Eyes got to the A rank, she started to meet players at her level. Again, we said Blue Eyes' rank just went to A25, it didn't go up to S. And it's funny because Blue Eyes' rank has never gone past A26. I think right now it's A25 because it went up and it went back down. So it shows how good the ranking system is because it's able to, it's able to level out Blue Eyes' experience, if that makes sense. It's like if Blue Eyes is really more experienced than A25, then Blue Eyes' if Blue Eyes' relative experience, you have to make that clear, if her relative experience was higher than A25, then each time she would play, her rank would just go up because the rank doesn't actually reflect her ability, if that makes sense. But in this case it actually does, and so that's why when Blue Eyes plays, her rank doesn't go beyond A26 because she doesn't have the experience to take the rank beyond that. And that's fine, because then if her rank did go so high, and she got players that are much more advanced than her, and then she'd just keep losing. Not she would, but she's more likely to, because her opponents will know techniques that she doesn't know. And if she doesn't know what to do, and the other players know what to do, then she can't combat the other players, so the other players are able to predict her actions and I don't know what word, outplay her, I guess. They just know how to defend against her and score points against her. So then she loses. Basketball is interesting because with Wii Sports Resort, I was terrible at it. For many years I was terrible. It was only towards the last few years of me playing Wii Sports Resort that I started to understand how to play that small. And all I ever did was the 3-point challenge because we only had one Wii remote with the Motion Plus, and I played the game with my siblings. So we couldn't do a 2-on-2 game because we needed more than one controller. So I only ever did the 3-pointers, and I was really bad at the 3-pointers. Until I kept playing. But it's not like we kept playing because we wanted to show off or anything like that. I think perhaps maybe we did want to get our score higher so we'd feel better about ourselves. But ultimately what keeps us playing is the fact that it's fun. As she said about bowling, it's fun getting to try and see if we can apply our knowledge to get, better results. And over time, the more we played basketball 3-pointers, the more we got the 3-pointer shots, to the point where we would be playing the 3-point challenge with my siblings, and then they'd be looking at me thinking, oh wow, we can't beat you now. And then, what year was it? I think it was 2024. They released basketball for Nintendo Switch Sports. And I thought to myself, okay, what's this going to be like? I played it probably a month after it was out, so I just got all these spoilers and stuff. So, man, I'm not interested. Leave me alone. I'm looking at it for the first time. Oh, okay, so you got 2-on-2 3-point. Oh, this. I think I know what this is. And then I get Dani to play it. I'm thinking, yeah, no, this is that thing that we used to keep doing all the time. Oh wow, they brought this back. This is cool. And we played it. And I thought, did that just happen? That wasn't that bad. I'm sure I got over 20 points in the first game I ever played. And I thought, do you remember when we were so bad at this thing? We just picked this up for the first time in Nintendo Switch Sports. And it was so good. Our gameplay was great. Sorry. It's because I ate food earlier. Yeah, gameplay was good. But we were surprised because we weren't expecting to play that good. No. But why did we play that good? It's because of all those times when we played the 3-point contest in Wii Sports Resort. Thinking about it now, basketball hasn't even been out for over a year on this game. And you're seeing the way Blue Eyes is getting those 3-pointers. It's like she knows what she's doing. And you ask Blue Eyes, she'll say, I don't really know. I'm just throwing. You would have heard me say it a lot of the time. Blue Eyes, I don't know how you're getting these 3-pointers in, but you're doing it. I say things like that because, especially in a match, this is like before the Barbara stream, the Barbara Blue Eyes stream, I think number 128. Before then, I'd noticed how whenever we play a match, my 3-pointers would be wonky. But when we do the 3-pointer contest, I'd be able to get them. And I wanted to understand, what is it that's stopping me from getting them in a match? And then I sort of played around and observed the experience, tried to reflect on it. And then by the time we got Blue Eyes on the scene, she was just getting 3-pointers in matches like it was nothing. But that just comes from experience. You have to play the game enough to get those experiences. Every time you play the game, you have an opportunity to learn something new. So if you want to gain more experience to get better at the game, you just have to keep playing. Which is exactly what those players do when they do their Road to Infinity Rank series. And what's quite interesting is those players do exactly what you need to do to get your rank to Infinity. But it's not by playing the game constantly and hoping that you win and using exploits to make sure that you win. How you get to the Infinity Rank is just by playing the game. That's all you need to do. You don't need to worry about how good you play, how bad. It's good to reflect on those experiences so that you can maybe spot things that can help you learn new skills. So say, when we did the 3-pointers in one of the streams, We did quick ones and we did slow ones to observe how that affects my physical and mental state, because when I did the quick ones, I feel really invigorated. I think that's the word. Whereas with the slow ones, I don't feel as hyped, I guess. But also with the slow ones, I noticed that my shots would drift to the left more than with the quick ones. But to let that affect you while you're playing, you shouldn't do that. You should just let yourself throw the ball. And then, pay attention to what's going on. Okay, I see it's doing that. And then when the game's finished, then you think, okay, so when I was playing, this is what happened. Maybe next time I could try it like this. But to be afraid to lose prevents you from noticing those patterns and things like that. So yes, one of those players who do their road to Infinity Rank, they're doing the right thing by playing. There are some things that they do that potentially slow down their progress. And I'm not sure if it's slow down their progress towards the rank or if it's just slow down their progress as a player. Because again, the Infinity Rank only shows your relative experience, but it doesn't show your true experience overall, because there are other things about the game that the game won't rank you for. It only ranks you for victories and losses for the most part. So what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? What we're trying to say is, if you keep, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. The more you play, you get the experiences, right? You have the opportunity to learn something from those experiences. If you analyze them, spot patterns in your gameplay, even your opponents, you have the experience, then you look back and reflect on it, and then you draw conclusions. And then, not concrete conclusions, because those things may have only been true for that session, but maybe the next session might be different. You just keep playing. Allow yourself to win, allow yourself to lose, allow yourself to throw the ball however it is that you feel like it. And there's another thing as well. I know, it feels like I'm saying something completely different, but it is related. In those series regarding the road to Infinity Rank, I've only watched one, and it wasn't even, I'm not sure if it was called that. At least the video wasn't titled Road to Infinity Rank, but either way, it doesn't matter. I've only seen one. The general vibe is... Oh no, because I saw the one video, but I did see some other thumbnails and titles, especially the ones where he lost. Yes, this is super nerdful. He had like a thumbnail where he's be sad. I don't know if he was feeling, because I never watched the videos, I don't know if he was feeling really sad or if it's like, oh no, I keep going down. I'm sure there's a thumbnail where it just showed lost rank in the thumbnail. You know that, the animation where your rank goes down, the rank shield tilts, and then there's a message that says lost rank, ... I'm sure that was one of the thumbnails. And I worry that a lot of players, when that happens to them, they get really sad, because immediately they're getting further away from the immediate goal of getting to the Infinity Rank. But they're not, because when you lose, you gain the experience that you need to learn new things. And when you learn new things, when you learn new things, you gain new skills. I don't know, because it's all about experience, isn't it? Every win and every loss counts as an experience. You know what, actually? This thing came to mind, and everything's jumbled up, I know, but I don't care. Let's talk about Amiibos for a moment. When you play with an Amiibo, they level up from 1 to 50. But one thing I remember, which Nintendo actually tells you themselves, your Amiibos glow more when they lose than when they win. I think that's a really interesting design feature. Because when you win, you know that what you're doing works, so why do anything different? Why try new things out when this what we're doing already works? But when you lose, you might think that you do need to try something different. You may look at what you did wrong and think how you could do that better. And then you try the new thing, which gives you a new experience, different to you doing the same thing constantly. You're still gaining experience by doing the same thing, but when you do something different, it's a different kind of experience. And so, from that different experience, you can learn more from that than just doing the same thing every time. That depends on the context, but generally, if you do something different, you're more likely to learn. Which is probably why when you lose, you generally tend to gain more experience than when you win, because when you lose, you're prompted, maybe subconsciously, to do something differently than when you win. And remember, the more experience you have, the more likely your rank is to go up to match your experience. That's how the rank works. So imagine if we started the Pro League back when we'd hardly played. Let's not even talk about back when we hardly played, because back when we hardly played, we still had over 10 years of experience. So it's not like we would have played that much. We probably still would have reached the A rank. Not even A, sure we would have reached the S rank. No, maybe the A rank, because the special links would have caught us still. Probably more than now. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. Yeah, because even by that point, I'm sure Haru spin was already a thing. And before then, I never knew how to hook to the left, which would catch me out with the special links. And we would have been caught out by that quite a bit. And then that means whenever we get the special links, we just lose. Our rank wouldn't go up, it would go down. So it would probably be A rank if we started back then, but still, A rank's really hard. We're talking, you're playing bowling for the first time, you've never played it in real life, you've never played Wii Sports nothing. You're playing it for the first time. Then your rank's going to be down there with all those new players that have like E, D, C, those ranks. That's what your rank would be. But then let's say you stopped playing with the rank turned on. You turned it off, turned off the Pro League, but you just kept playing. Then you gain experiences through wins and through losses, especially the losses, because then that makes you think, okay, well, that didn't work, so then you twist my wrist like this. Ah, look, see? Now you've got Haru spin. And then you try it the other way, alright? Now you know how to hook it to the right as well. What about the late throws and the early throws? When you throw the ball later, the ball's offset to the left more, because that's how that's where the character's arm is when you're swinging. So towards the end of the swing, you bring your arm closer to the middle of your body, which is offset to the left from where you start, where your arm is beside your leg. you sort of go from beside your leg to your chest, but moving your arm inwards brings the ball to the left. So the later you throw the ball, the more offset it will be to the left, and then it will get hooked by the way you twist your arm. So throwing the ball late, throwing the ball early, that also affects where your ball will end up after your throw. But these are things that we only learned through experience. The more we played, especially at Barbara, because that led to this kind of thinking. Because you see, yeah, sure, Barbara and I bowl very similarly, but Barbara and I are not the same person. And so, when I'm playing with Barbara to break the full floor, I treat Barbara as a different individual to myself. Likewise, Haru, hence why Haru spin became a thing. I wouldn't do it for myself because that's not how I bowl. But Haru decided one day she's gonna. Well, actually, what happened is the other person we mentioned before, she got 2-2-2. She was bowling with her left hand, tried to hook it to the left, and messed up. And then Haru said, well, you know what, I feel bad for you, so I'm going to do the same thing. And then she got a strike, and Haru's right-handed. So that's how we got Haru's spin. And because of Haru's spin, now I know how to hook to the left. Because before Haru's spin, I had no incentive to do that. I didn't really find it fun. Haru made it fun for me. And so, having a fun experience incentivized me to learn something new. And then my brain really wants to go back to that thing that we were talking about, the road to infinity rank. Because when people lose their rank, they stop having fun because they're not working towards, they don't think that they're working towards that goal, or that they're getting closer to their goal. They think that they're getting further away because on the surface their rank is going down. Or they're getting further from the rank that they actually want. And when you stop having fun, you don't feel like doing the thing that you were doing. Because it doesn't feel fun anymore. For some people, it's only fun when their rank goes up. And again, that prevents you from wanting to have those new experiences. Could you imagine? It's only because that one player was bowling with her left hand and messed up that I encountered Haru's spin. If I didn't make that mistake and that person with the left hand got a strike, Haru would have just bowled like normal. And we would be far behind with a Haru spin experience. Although saying that, I'm looking at the clip where Haru does the Haru spin earlier in that same session. It's like I say, Haru would have just bowled like normal, but it looks like she never really did, because I don't know what she's doing here. Is that what I would do casually? It's just interesting, because this is what we got because we brought in Haru. Haru made it fun to do things I wouldn't normally do. Whereas every time Dani bowls in the same session, he goes from his spot. He's not as creative as Haru is. Why did we get Haru to bowl like that? Because we felt it suited her character design. So that loss, because we made the loss fun somehow, we ended up learning something new. And when you have those little moments where you make a mistake and then you think, wait, but hang on, what did we just do then? I'm thinking about the stream moment with Yellow. Was it Yellow? Was it Evan? I think it was Evan. Maybe learned something new. That's why I said that. No, the other one is, you messed up. Well, you know what? Let's just mess around. It's alright. I'll do this because you did it. You tried your best. I'm going to try doing something different. We're in this together. And then what? Harry gets a strike. And we're thinking, wait, but Harry, how did you do that? And then Harry's spin becomes a thing. To the point where we look at Harry's spin and we think, you know what, let's do it. Let's do it because it's fun. It's fun to use Harry's spin. Harry's spin's now fun. It's the one thing that we don't want to do when it comes to the special lanes because we don't, back then, because, sorry, let's rephrase that. It's the one thing that we didn't want to do back then because it's not how we bowl naturally. But with Harry, it becomes fun because we made it fun before. We made a story out of it. So now we look forward to Harry's spin. You'll hear me say it a lot when Barbara has to Harry's spin. We'll say, oh look Barbara, it's time to Harry's spin now. Will you get it right? Maybe if she gets it wrong, I might be sad because, back then I did have issues which maybe we'll get to. But at this point, I've been talking for over an hour, I think. Yeah, it's been over an hour. Issues regarding the Pro League. But the Harry spin element made it fun. And that's really important because when you're having fun, you don't feel so bad about doing something. It doesn't feel bad because it feels fun. So then you want to do it because it's fun, and humans like doing things that are fun. They like doing things that make them feel happy. They want to be happy. So if you can make it fun, you'll want to do the thing. You want to keep playing, and like I said, you keep playing, you gain experience. And the whole point of the rank is to match your experience. So then if your experience is actually higher than your current rank, then your rank will go up. But only in relation to how you're ranked. So yes, like Rohan said, my ability may be better than what my rank suggests, but as far as the game's ranking system is concerned, it isn't, because in order to rank up, I need to consistently get scores that are higher than everyone else. Listen, you could finish a game with 279, or you could have a 279 set up and still lose your rank. Simply because everyone else has a 300 setup, or a 290 setup, or a 280 setup. And remember, to get any of those setups, all you have to do, or to get a 290 or a 280, or a 279, you just need to get one spare. But when you get that spare is very important. If you get the spare on the first frame, you got a 290 setup. If you get the spare on the second frame, you have a 280 setup. If you get the spare on the third frame or beyond that, you have a 279 setup. So if someone's got a 300 setup, someone else has got a 290, someone else has got a 280, you could get eliminated at the semi-finals. And if those players have a lower rank than you, that's it, your rank's going down if anything. Or because you missed one pin. You played very well, but you didn't make it to the finals, and so your rank still went down. And that's why I say your rank in the game is just relative experience. It's not your actual. It's not your actual amount of experience. It doesn't reflect your full amount of experience. It only expresses a relative version of your experience. And it does the job well, because like we said, we keep getting players who perform similarly, not keep, but we do find a lot of players to play at our level, Luoma, Annie, Angel, 23TW, Tanya, and BK as well. Listen, we'll be seeing Formless Guy there as well, because his bowling's good. He'll make it to us, and when he does, he'll be finding him, Barbara. Seriously. Look, this guy, Formless Guy, is the same person who won a game with PowerAnnie in it. So, look. He's at our level. Don't forget, everyone can have their extra good games or extra bad games, etc. But no, Formless Guy is at our level. He's with us. And that's what's nice about it, is you get to see people at their humble beginnings at the E rank. It's not actually their beginning, but the beginning of the game's, let's say, analysis of your gameplay. And you get to see, okay, so this is this player's true potential. Okay, now I can see it. Like when Barbara met Luoma for the first time. Barbara's rank was just B, but Barbara still won the game. But now Luoma knows, because now every time Luoma sees Barbara, her rank's the same as his, if not slightly lower. And that same person that he met those weeks back is actually similarly skilled to him. But he wouldn't have known, because her rank was just B. Let's see, it's just relative. I feel like at this point we're going in circles, but that's how I do it. That's what we've been talking for now. That's it. Well, it's not it. It's never it, but your rank equals relative skill. It doesn't carry your full ability. It doesn't represent your full ability. It just represents your ability under the conditions that the game assesses you on. It's done quite well because it gives you, when those players are actually playing, it gives you good matchups that allow for good contests. It means that you're not always going to win, and you see Barbara doesn't always win. That means the competition is good, which means her rank is at an appropriate level. If Barbara was consistently winning games, then her rank should be going up, because it means that her competition doesn't match Barbara's ability. Her competition seems to be the ability that we have. Let's rephrase it. The ability that her other opponents are showing doesn't match Barbara's ability. So Barbara needs to get players that can match, if not surpass, her ability, so that Barbara's able to have a close contest. Until Barbara reaches that crowd, her rank will go up. But as you've seen, Barbara's gotten to S and stayed there because now her competition is matching her ability. Yeah, we know the game gives you AI-controlled characters sometimes, but we're not talking about that. And even then, if Barbara was really better than that, then her rank. Let's not talk about her rank. If Barbara was really better than the characters that are controlled by AI, she would still be winning those games. But the funny thing is, she doesn't win because she just doesn't have that experience to win. It's very funny because bowling is one of the few sports where the ability of your opponents doesn't really matter. It's all about how well you can play, because they don't affect your gameplay. Especially if you turn off the stamps. You don't even have the stamps that says those players can't do anything to you. So it's just you and the ball in the night sky, as Siobhán says. It's funny, the night sky. Oh. Siobhán, how did you make a former sky joke before you even met him? That's really funny. Anyway, It's just you, the ball, and the night sky. That's it. There's nothing else that you need to focus on. You, the balls, the pins, and your bowling lane. There's no one else there to distract you. And yet, Barbara still can't get consistent 300s. And so it's no wonder that her rank isn't moving up, because she doesn't have the experience necessary to need better competition. It's like if Barbara's playing a game to compete with other players, she doesn't need her rank to go up, because the competition that Barbara gets now is perfectly fine. Not perfectly fine, but it's good, because it means that Barbara has a chance of winning, but she also has a chance of losing. And that's what makes up a competition. A competition isn't simply you win all the time. A competition, or just a game in general. Games have a condition, but the condition for it to be a good game, it needs to be possible for the player to win and to lose. If the game was impossible to win, it wouldn't be fun. Because it wouldn't really be a game, because it's impossible to win. And I feel like I've just said nothing. What I mean is, if it's impossible to win the game, you wouldn't play it. Because the game has an objective that just isn't reachable. But if it was impossible to lose the game, you may also not play it. Because then it becomes boring. It's not really a game, it's more you're just doing something. It doesn't matter what you do, because you always win. It's still good to give yourself a positive thing to take from every game. That's why we came up with Abby's game, because Abby's game makes it such that even if you don't win the main objective, you can still win in another aspect. So you may have, let's say someone finishes with a score of 279. They get 10 strikes, they get 9 strikes, and then they get a 9 spare strike at the end. And you finish with a score of 258, but you get a turkey at the end. You're saying the person with 279 is the winner, but you're the true winner because you got a turkey at the end. And that's what Abby's game is about. But what's really funny there about Abby's game is you still technically lost. You are the true winner, but you're also still a loser. Because the objective of the game is to get the most points, and you didn't do that. So Abby's game doesn't prevent you from losing. It just allows you to feel like you were successful in another manner. And so that's why I think Abby's game still allows, a game to be a game. If that makes sense. It doesn't take away losing. It just gives you another way to win. For a game to be good, I believe you need to be able to win as well as lose. If it's impossible to do either, respectively, then I'd say it's not really a game, or at least it's not a good game. And so the competition is a kind of game where you're playing with other players and your ability is compared with them. To win the game, you need to play better than they do. But to lose the game, you have to play worse. But if your ability was just always better than everyone else, it wouldn't really be much of a game, would it? Because you can't lose. You can't lose because your competition doesn't compare with you. I mean, it does, but it compares worse, if that makes sense. So it's not really a great game. Which is actually the reason why we got Blue Eyes to play the rank up, and I need water, so I need to drink it. The joke is, I remember the last stream I watched Fuller's guy upload to YouTube. He had a moment where he drank water, and he said something like, "Water tastes so good." And I have another friend whose username is just glorious water. It's great. Water is good. Water is glorious. You know, you can have that as your title on Nintendo Switch Sports. You can make it glorious water. Water. Yeah. Blue Eyes. We got Blue Eyes to play the rank because what kept happening was when the rank was off, Blue Eyes would have opponents, but her opponents didn't know how to play very well. Well, it's not that they didn't know how to play. Clearly they did know how to play because they were playing. It's just the way they were playing, their ability didn't match Blue Eyes. So much that at times some of the players disconnected from the game because they felt like, well, I don't know, but I'm assuming they felt like they couldn't compete with Blue Eyes, so it wasn't really a good game for them. And I understand that. It felt a bit sad because it's not like they didn't have a chance to still get a 3-pointer or even a 2-pointer. They still had the chance to play the game. They just couldn't win anymore. But that's fine, because remember, with a game it's possible to win or lose. So on this occasion you lost, but then you gain experiences that you can use to help you win next time. That's the whole point. But what we're trying to say is when Blue Eyes had the rank turned off, Blue Eyes wasn't really getting opponents that matched her ability. And what we said was, well, sure, we're getting players, but the contest isn't that intense, which doesn't make for a great game because we're always winning and we're not really getting to do anything interesting, if that makes sense. And it seems a bit subjective, but it didn't feel like the competition was good, so we decided by playing with the rank turned on, Blue Eyes would then rank up to a level where her opponents are similarly skilled to her, and at that point Blue Eyes would be able to win or lose. But either way, Blue Eyes would need to use a greater range of techniques to, well, we say that there's always the 3-pointer mind games, but we'll ignore those. Blue Eyes, can use a different range of techniques to get past her opponents, because her opponents can, they can work against different techniques, whereas perhaps the other players are less experienced enough that they won't be able to understand what Blue Eyes is doing, and they won't be able to defend against her. So then Blue Eyes is just able to score shots and win the games easily. But with the players at her rank, A and above, the players are able to understand what Blue Eyes does, so Blue Eyes isn't always winning. But Blue Eyes isn't always losing as well, which is also good. And there was a time when Blue Eyes was losing a lot, but Blue Eyes hasn't lost every single game in history. That's never happened to Blue Eyes. That's why we had the rank on. We didn't have the rank on so that we could get it up. Our aim wasn't to get a rank up as high as possible. Our aim was to get the rank to a level that allowed us to encounter players that can compete with Blue Eyes. Because if Blue Eyes can't compete with the players, then of course Blue Eyes can't have a great game. So then it doesn't feel worthwhile. And then if Blue Eyes' rank if Blue Eyes' opponents are subjectively worse than Blue Eyes, then there isn't a good competition for Blue Eyes again, so then the gameplay isn't worthwhile. So we're using the rank to help get Blue Eyes better matchups. It's not about getting Blue Eyes to the Infinity Rank. The only point in which Blue Eyes will actually need the Infinity Rank is when, let's say, Blue Eyes has an amount of experience where players with rank S can't compete with Blue Eyes. Although what's funny is that Blue Eyes has surpassed an Infinity Rank player, but that one Infinity Rank player, trying to think, it was a game where it was Blue Eyes and the character, and then that player with another character, but those other two characters were controlled by AI. So it wasn't like Blue Eyes was going up against two human players, both at the Infinity Rank. It was just one, and the other was AI. And I'd say the match was still even, because both of them had an AI-controlled character, and I believe their difficulty would have been set to Powerhouse either way. So it just comes down to who plays better with the AI. On that occasion, it was Blue Eyes. It's not to say that Blue Eyes can't compete with an Infinity Rank player, but again, the games where Blue Eyes actually had 2 to 3 Infinity Rank players, Blue Eyes didn't win either of them. Even the one where she was teamed with Rohan, they lost. Mostly because Blue Eyes made misplays. But either way, it still goes to show that Blue Eyes' experience, it's like Blue Eyes has a level of experience that isn't as high as those players with the Infinity Rank. And let's talk about the Infinity Rank for a moment. Because to get it, again, you have to play. We already said the more you play, the more experience you gain. But what's very common about those Road to Infinity Rank runs is they usually take quite a while. Players who have those ranks, they tend to have a lot of hours on the game because they spend a lot of time playing the game to gain the experience, is what we were saying. Those players who do those series where they Road to Infinity Rank series, they're doing the right thing to get themselves to that rank because they're playing. But what the rank actually means isn't that they're really skilled. I mean, it technically does, but the reason why it means that is because they have more experience than the players who don't have the Infinity Rank. In most cases, so not exclusively, it's possible. Which I mean, again, it's implied by Rohan when he talks about my bowling. I would argue that perhaps maybe there are some Infinity Rank players that have less experience than me as a bowler, whether it's in Nintendo Switch Sports or if it's just overall. And it's not impossible to have the Infinity Rank with less experience than me, because you don't need to know about late throws, early throws, and how to hook. You don't necessarily need to know how to hook. You just need to do it. And if you can do it and you win every single game, your rank you'll reach the Infinity Rank. But it doesn't mean that you have more experience, it just means you have more relative experience, like we said. So again, the players who have the Infinity Rank, they will tend to have more relative experience than the players who have A rank, for example. But in some cases, that relative experience is very close to their actual level of experience, and that experience would be more than yours. So it's not exclusive, but it's highly likely that a player with the Infinity Rank will have more experience than you if your rank also isn't the same. Not because your rank determines your experience, but it's more because your rank rises to match your experience. naturally. You're not working for the rank. The rank works towards you. But if you haven't played enough, your rank it's not going to be infinity. You need to play more to get. Just on the basis, you play one game, your rank's not going to be infinity. You have to play more games. There's a certain amount of games that you need to play at the bare minimum for you to reach S. So, let's say you played the game for the first time. You're going to have less experience than a player who's already at S, because the person who has the S rank would have had to have played more games just to get to the S rank to begin with. And then you're the person who's just played for the first time, so you're already at a disadvantage by experience. And don't forget that your rank doesn't mean that you will play better. It just means you have the experience to play better. It doesn't mean that, especially if you're not actually the person who got the rank playing with that person. So let's say Barbara's rank is S3, but I give the controller to someone else who's barely played the game, but they're still controlling Barbara. That means the person playing as Barbara doesn't actually have the experience that's marked next to Barbara. They don't have an S3 level of experience, but they're still controlling Barbara, which is a funny concept. But provided the rank actually matches the player's experience, who's actually controlling the character, in that case, yeah. Do you know what we're saying? It doesn't matter. What we're trying to say is, if your rank is infinity, it's because you've played enough for the rank to work towards your ability. So you have to keep playing. The more you play, the more it will go on. But the primary purpose of the rank is so that you can compete with players that are at your level. Because, again, like when you play a sport like basketball without the rank, you could get anyone with any amount of experience, which is fine. But if you want a close contest, that might not give it to you, because if those guys have never played before and you've got years of experience. I was going to say you can't have years of experience, but you can if you've played Wii Sports Resort. Either way, if they're new and you've got years of experience, it's not going to be a fair contest. You're either not going to be able to play to your full extent because you want to give them a chance, or they don't feel like they can compete because you're too good. It's like, let's look at it this way. You put Blue Eyes and Rohan in a team. Yes, Rohan's rank is infinity, but do you know why it's infinity? Because he's played the game enough to have an amount of experience that players below his rank often can't compete. Not exclusively, but a lot of the time they cannot compete with him. So his rank has to be higher so that he can... It doesn't have to be, but that's how the game works. His rank is higher so that he can encounter other players who are at his skill level. Blue Eyes' rank is A25. Inherently, because I've got years of experience with basketball in Wii Sports games, but I don't have as much as he does. Again, that is a bit of a blind assumption because of his rank, but I also know what it takes to get to the rank, and the fact that I played so many games even after our encounter and my rank with Blue Eyes is still A25. I already know that I have less experience than him, or at least less relative experience. I still think I have less experience than him, either way. What it means is that when you put Blue Eyes and Rohan as a pair, there are certain things that Rohan might know how to do with another player that he can't do with Blue Eyes, because Blue Eyes just isn't experienced enough to know what he's doing. So he might give the ball to Blue Eyes and expect Blue Eyes to do a really tricky pass that sets Rohan up for a good 3-pointer or a good dunk. Blue Eyes gets the ball and thinks, wait, what? You gave me the ball? What am I supposed to do with it? Rohan's just thinking, dude, Blue Eyes, just go on, Blue Eyes, do it. And then Blue Eyes doesn't. It's not because that happens because Blue Eyes just isn't that experienced to know what Rohan's thinking. There are other players at Rohan's level that will know what he's thinking, even without having met him, because they have the same amount of experience as each other, or a similar amount. But Blue Eyes isn't there. So, yeah, it was fun. It was really fun playing with Rohan, but there is a skill gap between Rohan and I. And that's fine, but especially casually, which is the whole point. The whole point is to play casually, so I'm fine. I'm fine with that, but if you actually want a close contest, then Blue Eyes is not what Rohan needs. Rohan needs a better teammate. Also, I'd also argue for Blue Eyes' sake that Blue Eyes needs a better teammate. Why do I say that? I say that because for Blue Eyes' sake, Blue Eyes may need another player who understands Blue Eyes' way of thinking. Because if that player knows how to set Blue Eyes up, and Blue Eyes knows how to set up the other player, they can play more cohesively because they're playing at the same level as each other. And so, as a team, they're able to play better. And I don't know if it's true, but I'm saying it's probably likely that a player also at the same rank as Blue Eyes is likely to play in a similar way to Blue Eyes. It hasn't really happened, but perhaps it's more likely that on paper you'd expect that more with players at Blue Eyes' rank than players at a much higher rank, because Blue Eyes doesn't have that experience. So yeah, as much as Rohan can teach Blue Eyes useful tips, having them play together may be harder. Not exclusively, but it may be harder simply because they play at different levels. I think about playing football against the AI. Playing against a strong AI, the Powerhouse AI, is different. There are some things that you can do against the Powerhouse that you can't do against the strong, because the strong doesn't do the same things that the Powerhouse AI does. So even if using, to face the Powerhouse AI, you need to use more advanced techniques. Those advanced techniques may not even work against the strong AI, because the strong AI just doesn't do the same thing. So you might expect the strong AI to do what the Powerhouse AI does. But then you try to read that input, and that input doesn't happen because the strong AI doesn't do that. So then the ball ends up not going where you wanted it to, because you thought the AI would do something completely different to what they actually did. Since that AI is, so to speak, not as experienced as you thought that they would be. I think that, if you're to play against players that are much more skilled than you when it comes to football, I've actually had this experience. I mean, I had it with basketball as I described, but you have, for example, I don't know if Fumiko's a good example, but yeah, I don't know, just anyone. They'll be playing, they'll go for an open spot for a pass, but everyone will be charging after the ball. Not to be rude, it's not really being rude, it's just an observation. I find that a lot of players who don't have much experience go straight for the ball. They don't set each other up for passes, they just head for the ball because they want to kick it. And I respect that, I think that's fair. But it means if you got Barbara sat open, she can't really do very much because the ball's never going to reach her. She's never going to get the ball because, well, not never, but her opponents are less likely, her teammates are less likely to pass to her because that's not how they play. They don't play Barbara's way. It's not necessarily Barbara's level, but they don't play the way that Barbara plays. And so if they don't play that way, Barbara's technique may not work, so you have to play differently. But perhaps if she played with the rank turned on, the Pro League turned on, she may get players who have a similar amount of experience to her, and therefore when Barbara's out open for a pass, the other players understand that way of playing, and so they'll kick the ball over to Barbara because they understand the way Barbara's playing, because they have a similar amount of experience. And how the game tries to acknowledge your level of experience is using the ranks. That's when you get to rank. That's what I believe the whole point of the rank is. It's just to help give you better teammates and better opponents for a better competition. If your opponents are too, if they have so much more experience than you, for them it'll be harder to play with you because how they play doesn't match how you play, and the reverse can be true as well. And basketball's quite interesting because as much as Blue Eyes / myself, we have the A rank, but all the other players don't play the way that we play. For the most part, that's what we've encountered. We've encountered, and Rowan has, I suppose he's confirmed this, most of the players go for the 3-pointer mind games. So Blue Eyes is trying to practice how to get set up for passes and go for assists. Blue Eyes likes doing that. But if Blue Eyes passes the ball to, another A rank or S rank or whatever rank player above Blue Eyes, a lot of the time Blue Eyes just doesn't get the ball back because they go for a 3-pointer because they know how to do it and it's fair. But that's an example where the rank doesn't necessarily pair you with players that play your way. Maybe level of experience is still similar, but I guess again it's relative experience. So those players who go for the 3-pointer mind games, they may not actually have experience with going for assists, which is quite interesting because then it means Blue Eyes will be running around for a pass, or she'll be waiting to set her teammate up for a pass, and her teammate's not moving. She doesn't know when her teammate's going to move, so she can't find time to pass, and so she gets stuck. Her entire playstyle is just gone. And if everyone above Blue Eyes' rank plays like that, it kind of makes it hard for Blue Eyes to have a place to stand. It doesn't really matter what rank Blue Eyes has because the players all play like them. Not always, but So again, Blue Eyes ranking up doesn't really mean anything to Blue Eyes because for Blue Eyes it's not about ranking up. It's just about getting decent competition that she can compete with a competition that understands her playstyle, or teammates that understand her playstyle. Be in competition so that the game isn't easy, but not hard, question mark. I guess it's supposed to be hard, but again, the game can be won or lost, but in a way that's fun. You get to play your way to an extent, and again, you get the chance to win or lose. I think that's it in terms of ranks and their purpose. It's just that your rank marks your relative skill, and its purpose is to pair you up with good teammates. It pair you up with teammates and opponents that share your level of experience, so that you can have a good competition. The problem I find is that players see the rank as a goal. They see it as a target. You need to reach this rank. But you don't need to reach the rank, because all the rank is there to do is give you good matchups. But what's funny is the players who go for Infinity Rank, i.e. intentionally go for the Infinity Rank, because there's multiple ways to get the Infinity Rank. For example, you could just play the game constantly and your rank will go up as you gain the experience, like we said. But eventually, if you keep playing the game, your rank will reach infinity at some point. It may take longer for some people than others, but your rank will reach infinity. It will happen. Don't worry about the rank. But anyway, with the players who go for road to infinity rank, they know that every time you lose, your rank goes down, which means it will take you longer to reach the rank. Not necessarily the experience needed, it just takes you longer to reach the rank. Which is a problem, because they notice that your rank goes up if you win, so then you just need to win all the time. In theory, yes, that is what you need to do to get your rank up. But then it means you're not really playing a game at that point. You still are, because you have a chance to win or lose. But if the only outcome you're accepting is a win, that's half of the game lost, because the game, it doesn't consist of two halves, but let's say that it does. One half is you win, the other half is you lose. And you're saying that you can't lose. So if you can't lose, then you're not really playing the game, are you? That's probably why people get so frustrated when they do lose, when they're going for the Infinity Rank, because they're not really playing the game. What makes a game fun is that you can win or lose. And either result is fine, because it's part of the game, and the game is fun. You took part in the game and you lost, or you took part in the game and you won. But the fact that you can win or lose is what makes it the game, like we said. So losing shouldn't have to be dissatisfying. At least not extremely, because of course the objective is to win. But what makes it the game is that you can also lose. That's what makes the moment, like when I mentioned Giovanna losing every single time. That's funny. It's only fun because Giovanna can lose, and that we appreciate that that's possible. Otherwise, you wouldn't have seen it as fun. But then you wouldn't be looking at it as a game. Yeah, I think the problem with voting Infinity Rank is when a lot of players do that, their only desired outcome is winning. They can't lose, because if they lose, they don't get it. And that does bring me, in a very passive way, to the issue we had with the Bowling Pro League. I did forget about that. you may have forgotten about it too. I said at one point that I had an issue when Barbara was doing her sessions that made it less fun. And it wasn't necessarily to do with Barbara's performance directly, but it was more to do with just playing globally, because I wasn't having a good time with the other players. So it got to a point where we just wanted to get this done as soon as possible, so that we didn't have to have Barbara here every single time for the sake of the Pro League series. It could be someone else like Susana, for example, which we did do once. And that was a problem because we felt like people may have had a problem with Barbara being there. I don't know, but we're not entirely sure how PowerAnnie feels about Barbara. Or about Barbara being... It's not really... that's a disambiguation. It's not Barbara's her best friend. It's PowerAnnie is Barbara's best friend. It's not a... I don't know how to explain it. It's like it doesn't necessarily go both ways. I don't know if it goes both ways. I just know that Barbara likes PowerAnnie. I don't know if PowerAnnie likes Barbara, but we're not concerned with that when we talk about PowerAnnie being Barbara's best friend. When we talk about that, we're talking about Barbara appreciating PowerAnnie. So it's not, again, we don't know if it is, we don't know if it is Barbara is PowerAnnie's best friend. That's not how I would describe it. But we don't know how she feels ultimately, so it's just things like that, which make playing as Barbara a bit tedious to break the fourth wall, because I feel like maybe people find it annoying that Barbara's here, controlled by a human. So we wanted to get this done, the Pro League series done as soon as possible, so that we wouldn't have to play as Barbara all the time. So that we had an excuse for not playing as Barbara all the time. That's what I mean to say. I guess this series had two conditions for finishing. One of them was we got all the items, which we still haven't done yet, and the other was Barbara reaches the Infinity Rank. But, for us to do the first condition, we'd have to still keep playing for at least a few more weeks. Not many weeks, but a few more. So, because of that, and we didn't really want to play, we knew that the quicker option would be to reach the Infinity Rank, provided we had the experience to reach it, which we didn't. So then we went through the effort of training, which during the sessions, at one point we said, this doesn't feel fun. How can we make this become fun? Because with it not being fun, we didn't really feel like we wanted to be doing this. There is a way to train and have the training be fun. And of course, what does training do? It gives you experience because you're constantly playing the game. And so therefore, you have the potential to learn new skills. The skills will help you play better. Through the process of learning the new skills is an experience that can help you. I know I'm trying to use the word experience, but because as we know, as you gain experience, your rank goes up. Well, that was the whole idea of the training. But at first, the training was actually fun. So it wasn't like it kind of didn't matter if Barbara got better or not. We were enjoying the training sessions, and then after a while, I guess we got too fixated on trying to discover something new. So then it became less fun, and we felt like doing it less. We did have other problems outside of, Sparko Squares in real life. And those problems made it harder to train and things like that, and made the game a bit less enjoyable with the play-by-play chaos that we were feeling. At a certain point we stopped having fun. Well, we stopped having fun because playing globally got too toasty for us, so then we started to do the training sessions. To try and get Barbara's rank up, which, again, like I said, it was alright until it started to get not fun. And then we tried to make it fun by bringing in I, and then we brought in Siobhán, and then we ended up with the training trio, which I still think is great. I just like seeing the three of them together. I think it's nice. And the whole point of the training trio was to make training feel more fun. It's basically bringing back the sessions where we had Haru, who saw the other bowler make a mistake bowling towards the left, and then she decided to bowl to the left, and then she scored a strike, and then we ended up with Haru's spin. That's an example of making the game feel fun, and we did that through having, I did that by having 4 different players and have them have slightly different personalities, and we got that through the training trio as well. Good Barbara, I, and Siobhán have 3 different characters. Each of them have their own, they have their own design. They carry a different vibe for me. Barbara, the confident one. I, the cheeky but talented, friendly as well. She's very complex. She's great. She's competitive, but she's also calm. She's happy. She loves Tomoko. Tomoko's her best friend. And then Siobhán, she's as calm as Tomoko, and she's a bit more stoic than Tomoko. Siobhán's she's like the mature young adult. That's Siobhán, with her black knit cap. I've seen her have dark colour schemes. I think the first time I ever saw her, she kind of had like a dark outfit colour scheme, which I probably get because of the hat. And obviously, the game put Siobhán in various different outfits, but I think the first one I saw her in was a bit dark, perhaps. So that's what gave me this edgy vibe for Siobhán, and that's what we've stuck with ever since. We've seen Siobhán in her notes. She's very encouraging, but she keeps things. I mean, people say keep it real, but if you understand what that means, that's Siobhán. Siobhán doesn't fantasize anything. She's very much in the present, I guess, if that makes sense. That's Siobhán. And they all have their different styles. So when you bowl with all 3 of them, you're bowling in different ways, and through that you learn different things. I actually helped with Haru's spin because she does it in such a consistent manner that helps me realise, okay, how much do we actually want to twist our wrist to get away, to get the stroke? Because Haru's spin it's always something that we thought was fun, but because there are times where we felt like we really want to get a stroke, we felt like we couldn't do Haru's spin because we felt like it wouldn't give us the strike, which again, that's a problem when you don't allow yourself to lose. You don't miss out on an opportunity to learn things. But what's nice with the character I is that we made the character I in such a way that she doesn't care. She's just doing this for the sake of training. It's funny because I is the kind of person who doesn't want to mess up. She wants to get those strokes. She wants to be the best. But when she got called up to train with Barbara, she sort of changed a bit. She became a bit more respectful to the different ways to bowl. I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I don't care, we're just having fun, we're just training, trying different things out, so I'm gonna do this. And then I standard technique is, she still bowls like Barbara, but she wants the Haru spin technique to become her technique, her mainstream technique. Or at least her secondary, so she does her normal technique that's like Barbara and my technique, but then she also does her Haru spin technique. She starts from the place where the bowlers always start from if you're right-handed, and she bowls from that spot. And Siobhán does the same, but with her left hand, because she's left-handed. So she's on the other side, and she bowls to the right. That's what we do with Siobhán. With I, she gets a Haru spin, and it's like as a bowler, I is now matured, because again I would be willing to do that technique, whether she gets the strike or not. Yeah, she'll want the strike, but she's alright, because she says, yeah, well, I'm still trying, and you guys did great. And you'll see I in trial mode, that's sort of how she behaves now. It's quite interesting. A character who I would have considered to be hungry for victory is now quite happy to take a loss in respect of her, I guess, novice ability, if that's the word, I don't know if that's the phrase I'm looking for, or I guess naivety, because she doesn't know how to bowl properly, and she respects that, and she says, yeah, but I still want to bowl like this, so I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care if I win or lose, because I still get to try. And that's what the training trio has given me. That's what I got from the training trio. You might hear me saying, I really respect what you guys have done for me, Barbara and Siobhán, and you think, what, they're just characters? Yeah, they're just characters, but it's through the characters that I've actually had experiences that I wouldn't have had if I didn't play with them. And those characters have actually given me something. And not just for the sake of Barbara and the Bowling Pro League, but just, in terms of playing the game bowling itself. Now I can play in different ways, I don't have to just play the one way. And then it can be fun to bowl in those other ways as well. And then also I learn things about my life as well through experiences like this. That's what these characters have done, and you see the most in Siobhán's notes. These are things that you can apply to any part of your life. Even though we said it in the context of bowling, it can be applied elsewhere. And I've only had those thoughts because of Siobhán. Siobhán's carried me that, so good work Nintendo making those characters, because they're well designed and they give me ideas that actually benefit me outside of the wildest Wacko swim. It's good stuff. There's that thing again where we're talking about losing and not caring about losing, because it's part of the game. What we were saying before we talked about the training trio was the point where we felt like Barbara couldn't lose, because if Barbara lost, it meant we had to stay, we had to keep playing with Barbara and play globally, which is what we didn't want to do. So we didn't want to lose. So it's not even like we were sad because we didn't get the Infinity Rank. We were just sad because we had to play online with online players. But it has the same effect, which is because of this goal that we have. So for the Road to Infinity Rank players, the goal is to reach the Infinity Rank. And for me, the goal is to not play with the online players. The only way to, not the only, but within context, the only way to achieve those goals is to make sure you never lose again. because if Barbara loses a game, her rank goes down, and therefore I have to keep playing with Barbara to get her to the Infinity Rank. And the same goes for the other players going for the Infinity Rank. They can't lose, because if they lose, their rank goes down. And that's a problem. Then that makes it less fun. So then you don't appreciate the experience, you don't encourage yourself to learn new experiences, because you just want whatever gets you to the rank as quickly as possible. So it actually makes it harder for you to rank up. I'm not sure if that's directly or indirectly, but indisputably, whether it helps you rank up or not, it definitely doesn't help you gain experience, or doesn't help you broaden your amount of experience by trying out new things, because you don't feel like trying out those new things, since those new things are less likely to help you rank up immediately, and because of that, you don't want those techniques, because you want to win, since you know winning will get you the rank. I don't think there's much to add. I think I've said my bit. I've been talking for 2 hours. The last time I checked was basically an hour ago. 2 hours, imagine. I can talk about this for 2 hours. I'm supposed to watch a video that's 2 hours and it's 7 in the morning. I'm not going to sleep. But that's because I'm using a really weird daily routine. So it's basically my normal routine, but shifted by about 5 hours or something. It's a bit weird, but it's alright. Just trying things out, and whether it goes well or not. My mindset, I don't know if I've achieved my mindset, but my intention is to appreciate whatever happens, whether it's good or bad. Because either way I can learn something, I can have an experience that I have the opportunity to learn from. And I think that's what's going to help you advance. It's going to help you gain experiences that will help you advance. Is there a way to conclude? No, because well, there is, but I think it'd be better if I wrote this stuff down. Usually what happens is I'll be writing and then I'll think, you know what, this looks very conclusive, and then I'll just stop writing. It happened to me earlier when I was writing a note to another friend. I looked at what I was writing and I thought to myself, just send that, you've written enough. But when we're talking, we don't feel like that, we just keep talking. But that's it. I really want to make a more concise version of this, but it's just not my style. It's not. I'd have to learn how to do that, and I won't be able to do it now because I haven't learned it. You to have more experiences. That's it. What is it? You don't need to work with the rank, because the rank can work for you. Let's rephrase that. You don't need to work for the rank, because the rank can work for you. As you keep playing, you gain experiences, and as you play in the Pro League, your rank will reflect a relative version of those experiences you have. And so if you've played a game a lot and gained a lot of experiences, you're very likely to have performances in those games that the game suggests is more capable than other players, so then it will rank you up. Its whole purpose is to pair you up with other players that match your ability, so that the competition for everyone playing can be good. Everyone has a relatively equal chance of winning or losing, because the relative ability that every player has is the same, since the rank is all the same or similar. The rank isn't an accurate measure of your experience. It isn't an accurate measure of your amount of experience, but it is, like we said, it's a relative measurement. And as you've seen from encounters between Barbara and Luoma, for example, it's quite good. Barbara and Luoma have a very similar rank, and when those two get paired with each other, they usually both make it to the finals, and their scores are quite close between each other. They are, or we could say they're evenly matched. And what's interesting, as we said, is they share similar rank. Your rank is there to pair you with players that match your ability. Your rank it's not there to mark it is there to mark your ability. That's the whole point. That is the whole point. But in gaming culture, players are regarded more highly for having or showing more ability, greater ability, showing more advanced skills. And so players aspire to have such skill so that they can be regarded highly by other people. We've written a paragraph that talks about this exact thing, where your rank is a symbol of success, and so if you have the rank, you're considered successful. Even though, as we said, the rank isn't an accurate measure of your ability, it's just a relative measurement. And also, on those grounds, you don't actually have to be the best to have one of the highest ranks, because there are exploits, especially in video games. Every game has an exploit. Everything has an exploit, I think, but video games have exploits, and you can use those exploits to help you reach those ranks with, say, less effort. When you say less effort, it's quite subjective, but you use the exploits to do something, with less effort. You just use one technique to get a strike, for example, rather than using several. Why do you need 10 different ways to get a strike? You only need one so you can get a score of 300. And all you need is a score of 300 to get your rank up. But then, therefore, it doesn't mean that your rank... it doesn't mean that your rank matches your actual skill. Just your relative skill, like we said. I know we are really taking this far, but for a moment let's also think about a player with the Infinity Rank. I will use Rohan as an example, but I only know him in the context of basketball. I've seen him play basketball, I've seen him play bowling, but that's it. I think that's it. I know his basketball is good, but let's talk about bowling. And let's say you're just a player. You're not even a player, you're just a person, and you want to see how the best Nintendo Switch Sports players play bowling. Let's use two examples. I don't know any Infinity Rank bowlers, so I can't use any. And as much as I know about the S-Rank players, I'm also an S-Rank player, so I don't need to use anyone else as an example. I might use PowerAnnie, but that's a separate story. So let's use... we're talking about two Infinity Rank players first anyway. So let's use one. So the first Infinity Rank player. This player uses a very diverse range of skills. They may bowl from anyone Susana does this. Susana does this. Should I say right now that Susana is an Infinity Rank player? I don't know, because Susana's scores aren't always the best, but they're always over 100. Usually they're always over 150 as well. And what she does is Susana dances. She dances to the music, and then eventually she stops dancing. She's settled on a spot, and wherever that spot is, she bowls from it. She doesn't bowl from the same spot twice in a row. A lot of the time she doesn't, unless her dancing ends at the exact same spot. A lot of the time it doesn't. So she's always bowling from a different spot. And that means she has to hook the ball slightly differently each time. But a lot of those times Susana can still get strikes. So we're going to call the Infinity Rank player 1 Susana. This is the player who can bowl from any spot, and angle themselves in different ways and still get strikes. And then we have Infinity Rank number 2. We're going to name her Giovanna, and here's why. Giovanna was the first player, I think, if not the second, in a video / stream. So let's rephrase that. Giovanna is possibly the second player in the recording that we've uploaded onto this channel to score 300 points. But the way that Giovanna did it was by bowling exactly, so did Tomoka and Barbara, but she bowled in the exact same spot 12 times. Her technique is very basic. She adds basically no back. She hardly swings back, hardly swings forward. I mean, she does a lot more than what some other players do that I've seen, I'll be honest. But it's so simple. It doesn't look as realistic as Barbara either, because I think you'd want to do a proper run-up, not a run, but a proper walk-up to the line and then throw the ball, if that makes sense. In that clip where I showed Dani bowling, I don't need to show that clip again, I should probably show different ones, but in that clip where Dani was bowling, he did more of an authentic bowling run-up or walk-up. He walked up to the lane like a proper bowling athlete and swung, although the ball popped out his hand. Giovanna doesn't really do that. The first time I scored 300, it was interesting. It was a mixture. It was Dani and Christine. And Christine, who's supposed to represent fake Dani. Christine bowls like Michaela bowls like Giovanna, or it's more the other way round, in which Giovanna bowls like Giovanna bowls like Michaela bowls like Christine, because Christine was the first to adopt that style. Dani and Christine together, they played a team game and they got 300. They actually played, if I'm not mistaken, they played with Barbara and Abby. And, I mean, Abby was bowling with her right hand and she was messy. She was still trying to figure out her technique at the time. Barbara and Abby versus Christine. Dani and Barbara bowl the same. And Christine bowls in what for me it felt a bit lazy. And she get the strokes. So that was a mixture of my normal technique and my lazy technique. And they did it, they got 300. The second time was with Michaela. Michaela bowled just like Christine. It's funny because Christine bowled like that and she got 266. And then Michaela got 300. And then remember that screenshot where Dani got 300? That was using Michaela's technique, which is the same one that Giovanna used and also got 300. And again, this is the lazy technique, and it's always from the same spot. So what are we actually talking about here? We've got the two different Infinity Rank players. One of them is Susana, and the other one is Giovanna. Now you might look at both, like you might be searching for the best of Infinity Rank players, the best of Nintendo Switch Sports Bowlers. Let's say, for a cinematic effect, the first one you click on is Giovanna. Giovanna, as we said, just bowls the same each time. That's what she did. And you might be thinking, well, okay, so she just does that, and then boom, strike. And then you have to remember that we're talking about someone searching this up who doesn't know much about bowling, so they don't know the ins and outs. In other words, they don't know the technical details. They don't understand the technical skill required to bowl. So they'll be looking at Giovanna thinking, okay, well, she's just bowling from the same spot every time, and she's getting strikes. And again, it's not like getting 12 strikes is easy in the rows. It's not, if you don't know what you're doing. So it's still impressive. But if you compare that to Susana, you watch Susana get 12 strikes in the exact same way. You watch Susana get 12 strikes in her style. You watch her dance. I mean, the player doesn't have to dance, but as I mentioned, they dance just like Susana. You have Susana dancing, and then Susana's in a very weird spot, nothing like Giovanna's spot. And then she bowls, and then the strike happens, and you're thinking, whoa, how does she do that? She's so good. And then she bowls from a completely different spot, and then she gets another strike. And then she bowls from a completely different, and then you think, this player is so good. It doesn't matter where they bowl from, they can just do it. And you know what? Even if that player bowls 9 pins or 8 pins, you might be looking at where they're bowling from, and you might be thinking, that's crazy, that's still crazy that they did that. Whereas Giovanna, she just bowled from the same spot. So not only is it less sophisticated, but you even expect the strike because it's just the same. We understand the pattern within Giovanna's bowling style. Whereas with Susana, there isn't really a pattern because she has to bowl differently every single time. And that makes Susana's play a lot more mysterious than Giovanna's. It makes, like, you might think Susana's a lot more talented than Giovanna, and technically she is, because Giovanna can't bowl from all those different places like Susana and still get strikes, or at least 9 pins. Giovanna has to bowl from her spot. Of course, this is only within my story for Giovanna and how she bowls. If the AI controls Giovanna, the AI does whatever it wants to do with her. So Giovanna controlled by AI isn't necessarily going to bowl from the same spot as Giovanna controlled by me, or Giovanna controlled by you, for example. You can do what you want with Giovanna, because Giovanna's just a character. And she's also a character that you can control if you recreate her, so there's no limit to what you do with Giovanna by technicality. I don't think there is. So, the point is, you watch Giovanna and think, Giovanna's just doing that. You expect it. Susana, you don't know what to expect because she has to do something different each time. That is if you don't understand the sport. And to do all of what Susana is doing, you need to have a bigger skill set because there are different things you have to consider. Yes, the timing of your throw. I mean, Giovanna still has to watch the timing of her throw. That's still very important. But Susana has to hook it maybe she'll throw it a different direction as well, because you can throw the ball to the right and then hook it to the right as well. That makes a difference. And Susana has to apply a lot more techniques to get her strokes than Giovanna does, because they're bowling from different spots. Giovanna's bowling from the same spot and Susana's bowling from different spots. So in terms of technical ability, Susana is better than Giovanna. But their rank is the same, because their rank is just their relative ability, not their true potential. Why are we talking about Giovanna, Susana, them representing two different kinds of Infinity Rank players? The reason why I went into that is because of the reason why people go for the Infinity Rank. People often go for it because it's a symbol, like we said, some people go for it because it's a symbol of skill and talent and experience. But when you watch some Infinity Rank players, you might actually be thinking, well, they're not actually doing that much. Like, I could do that. Maybe not as consistently, but I can do that. That's not really that difficult. But you might look at a player a bit like Susana and think, well, they actually know what they're doing. They do so many different things and they know how to do all of them. That's the kind of Infinity Rank playing that people are actually. I can see where that camera is now. I was looking for that camera. That has nothing to do. Well, I have 3 cameras, but I can only see 2 of them. Now I can see the 3rd one. Right, anyway. Yeah, if you're looking for the best of the best, you're not going to be looking for the player who just knows how to get to the Infinity Rank by any means necessary. You're looking for the player who actually knows more about the game than an average player. And I guess it's like, if you were to look for a guide to find out which players are more likely to be like that, yes, you're going to turn to the Infinity Rank players, because by default, they're more likely to have more experience than players with an S rank, for example. Because to get the Infinity Rank, you have to play more, you have to gain more experience to outclass the players with less experience. And by doing so, your rank rises up with you to the Infinity Rank. It's not you work towards the Infinity Rank, it's the Infinity Rank matches your ability. So if you want to see the best of the best, you're going to be looking for players with more experience. The players more likely to have more experience are the Infinity Rank players. And so therefore, the Infinity Rank players will be more high in demand. Especially when it comes to, like less experienced players who want advice, or they want to see what it's like to be good, or they just want to see good gameplay. If they just want, it could be just that, they just want to see a good gameplay. What is it like? What is the full extent of bowling? If you want to see the true extent of bowling, what you want to watch is not Giovanna, you want to watch Susana, because Susana does different stuff. Again, Barbara, even if Barbara makes it to the Infinity Rank, I would still say she is subordinate to Susana, because Susana does so much more than Barbara does. And to be fair, Barbara is learning, and Barbara has applied so many more techniques than she did when she started. She is really developing as a bowler to Susana's level. Although, if we're going to break the full 4, I control both Susana and Barbara, so technically they are evenly matched. But, in typical games, Susana shows more skill. She shows a broader skill set than Barbara does, because Barbara just does the same few techniques, whereas Susana combines so much more. So if you want to see the full extent of bowling, you're not going to watch Giovanna, you're not going to watch Barbara, you're going to watch Siobhán, you're gonna watch Susana. That's what you want to see. And that's why the Infinity Rank players are on demand. But because some people can see them, that's why they want the rank. Because they want to be in demand. And that makes sense. But then they miss the point. They don't understand what the Infinity Rank really means. They just see it as, if you have the rank, you're really skilled. And that's like, it's not wrong. It's not false. If you have the rank because you have experience. And you have more experience than a lot of other players. It takes that amount of experience to have that rank, which is why Barbara doesn't have it. But just because you have the rank, it doesn't mean that you are the best. Because there are so many different ways to get the rank. Not so many, there are different ways to get the rank. All of which require the same thing, which is experience and playing the game once. But, yeah. I think the rank, the actual incentive to get the rank for a lot of players isn't accurate. I think it's just not the greatest incentive. Because of that, they, what do? What they do is they go for the rank, right? They go for the rank, just to show that they have it. But, I don't know, because it's not like everyone gets the rank for that reason. Some people have different reasons for wanting the Infinity Rank. Maybe they just like the fact, like they just want it, just so that it's there. They want it for themselves. They don't necessarily want it because they want to feel like they're really good, or they want the skill. Then they just like how it looks. I said this about Blue Eyes when she got the A rank. I said, the A rank's a nice colour, it's yellow, I like it. I'm just used to seeing S rank all the time, but I like the colour of the A rank. What if you just like the colour of the Infinity Rank? You just like the design of it. So you want to get the Infinity Rank just so that you have it because it looks nice to you. It has nothing to do with being skilled or to show it off to other players. You just have it for your own self. That's fun. It really is fun. I just feel confident that that's not why a lot of players do the Infinity Rank. I feel like they do it so that people can notice them. And it's no secret that Barbara in the Bowling Pro League is slightly not exact. The reason why I say slightly is because it's almost like the project was future-proofed by the incentive. And what the incentive and the items. What we're trying to say is we didn't know if we were going to reach the rank or not, but we still decided to do it because at least it gives people something. The whole point of the project is to inspire people and to inspire them to be more respectful about their rank, perhaps, and also about the other players too, not to belittle them because they have a lower rank. Just because you have a different rank doesn't mean that you're a terrible player, and some people I know do that. Oh, your rank is A, I can't lose to you. And remember, why do they say can't lose to you? They say that because, well, one, they're assuming that they're less experienced. Two, they don't want to lose their rank, because if they do, it goes down. And that's just an example. There are other reasons why they say stuff like that, but we're trying to encourage that to not be the case. The reason why we wanted Barbara to have the Infinity Rank is because if Barbara actually has the rank, then it makes Barbara's work more noticeable. If they can see, Barbara's respectful nature to the other players, then they can see that there are, some Infinity Rank players are nice. Like Rohan, that was really nice. They can see that, some players with the rank are really nice, and they don't make other people feel worthless and things like that. But that meant that we really wanted the rank. To show, so that other people can see it and notice what we're doing. It's not about us having the rank. It's about, like you said, it's about showing. Sorry, I'm just playing with this cable thing. It's not about having the rank. It's about showing sportsmanship. But we're using the rank as a means to make it more obvious, because we feel like if we didn't have the rank, we just won't be noticed, and so people won't get to learn this alternative way of being a sportsman, being a competitor, an alternative way to be a competitor. A bit like I, because like we said, I is competitive, but she's a bit more mature now, and so when she loses, she's not grumpy, because she respects that she lost. It's part of the game. And that's what we're here to promote. But it's easy to promote something when you're more noticeable. That's why we wanted the rank. But we know we can't get the rank because we don't have the experience, and as much as we can use more basic techniques to get the rank, for me it's not so fun, and it does defeat the purpose of the project, because as much as the project's reach to other viewers, I guess, let's rephrase it. The amount of people who see the project does slightly, doesn't. What are you trying to say? We're trying to say, as much as more people may be likely to notice the project if Barbara's rank is infinity, the whole point of the project is to be casual about reaching the rank, to not focus on the rank, just to let our rank grow up as we play. Because as much as I probably didn't think about it like I do now, I still think that even when we started, we've had this mindset that our rank will just go up as we play. We don't need to focus on the rank. We'll just keep playing and we'll just keep ranking up to meet our level. Yeah, that's it. We're not worried about how far our rank was. I think when we started, we didn't think we'd reach the rank very soon. So when our rank got up and then we started losing and our rank went down, we weren't surprised. It's what we expect. Not really supposed to expect things all the time, but we didn't expect to reach the Infinity Rank, so we were okay with that. It's only when we got more desperate to make our point that we wanted the rank, and we sort of lost the plot. But from the start, we had this mindset that our rank would just match our ability, so we don't need to worry about it. Just play casual, keep playing. Let the rank do what it's doing. The rank is doing its job, is giving you appropriate matchups. Or it tries to anyway. And that's fine. This is actually the reason why we never had the rank on until 2024. Because we didn't want to be part of that crowd that focuses on our rank too much. We've been there and experienced that with Mario Kart. So we know what it's like to fixate on our rank. And we know what it's like to play around other people who also do that. So, to reduce the competitivity, we just said, oh, there's rank? Okay, I don't want this. No, please. I don't want rank. I don't want to rank. I just want to play bowling because it's fun. I don't want it to be too competitive. That's it. It'll be 2 hours. It's probably 2 hours already. Nope, it's not. Barbara in the bowling pin. Oh yeah, I lost the plot a bit and I'm really dehydrated, it's crazy. But, you know what, let's drink some water. When I drink water, it didn't really work. It's really weird. It's probably because I'm very dehydrated. Oh. Yeah, that feels weird. It feels weird. It just means I'm really dehydrated. It's alright, just give it some time. Also, I'm talking a lot, so that's not helping. I'm very tired. Oh yeah. I remember Sky. From this guy. There was a moment where he was saying he kept talking about the ranks, and I kept getting worried that he was gonna fall into the trap of focusing on the ranks too much. Because I've been there, done it, and I've seen other people do it. And it gets in the way of having fun. Hopefully you get on alright. Hopefully everyone gets on alright. I think that's it. I really can't think of much. Although that's because I'm dehydrated and I can't breathe very well. But that is the premise. I know what we were talking. We're talking about different kinds of Infinity Rank and the reason why different kinds of players with the rank and why people go through. And as we said, people can have different reasons. I just feel like the most common one is to show off, to be noticeable. More the noticeable one than the show off one, but the show off one is still there. Which again, like we said, that's why we didn't want to play rank at first, because we didn't want to deal with the show offs. We did feel that way about that Infinity Rank player that Blue Eyes won against. We felt like he kind of felt superior to Blue Eyes. So it felt uncomfortable. It felt uncomfortable to play with him. It felt uncomfortable to win against him. We won the game, but I was not that happy. I was not very happy. I think I would have rather have had a rank players. And you get those, like I said that in one of the streams, you get them, maybe not in the stream, maybe in a voice recording during the stream. You get these videos where a player who doesn't have the Infinity Ring surpasses a player who does have the ring, and they get excited and they make a video titled, "I beat an Infinity Ring player." And for them it seems to be so cool that they were able to do that. And you know what? It is cool. It's not cool. It's cool as long as you make it cool. In other words, as long as you believe that it's cool, then it is cool. No one can really tell you that it's not, because it's just your opinion. But I feel like, again, some people, or those people, make a big scene out of winning against an Infinity Rank player because they think that the Infinity Rank player is supposed to be better than them, and they feel like because they won, they are better than the Infinity Rank player, which is true in that particular game. In that particular game, they played better than the Infinity Rank player in one way or another. I mean, it could be a case where you just have a better teammate. You know, that's a separate story. And this laptop, sorry. Yeah. It could be a case where, like I said, your rank's just blah blah blah. Your rank, you just play better on that occasion. Or it could be a case where you actually are better than that player, but the rank doesn't dictate that, and the results of the gameplay don't necessarily dictate that. It's like we said, it's all about a player's actual ability rather than the relative ability shown by the rank. And that one session doesn't dictate a player's overall ability. It's just their ability that they showed. It's just the ability that they put forward in that one session. Well, that's not how they play all the time, necessarily. They could play different next time. But just because you won the one game doesn't mean that you're better. But because a lot of the gaming community, I find, more with the teenagers to be honest, I find that they really value skill. It means when they do win against an Infinity Rank player, they will get excited and they will feel like they're really good. And it's not like they're not. It takes a relative amount of skill, funnily enough, to do that. You still need to put on a performance to win against an Infinity Rank player. So the fact that you did it, yeah, it's good. But it doesn't mean that you're world class. It's just another session, isn't it? The concept of world class is subjective. Yeah, so you can enjoy it, you can enjoy the winning, but you don't need to look down at the Infinity Rank player like you're better than them. You were on that one occasion, but it means that ultimately means you had a good contest because they have their amount of experience. I mean, to be honest, whether you have a good contest with the Infinity Rank player or not depends on how the actual gameplay maps out. If it's a case where you just outright beat the Infinity Rank player effortlessly, then it's not really a good contest, is it? It's just, that happened. But if it's, you have to try, you have to genuinely try, and the competition is good, so you had a chance of losing, they had a chance of losing, and you both had a chance of winning. That's a good contest, that's a good game to feel good about, in my opinion. It's just a good game anyway, because that's what makes up a game, the opportunity to win and lose. But it's like, for some people, it doesn't matter how good or bad the game is, it's just the fact that they won against Infinity Rank player makes them feel like they're really good. Maybe my issue is that I think that's a very simplistic, maybe immature way to think about it. The reason why I brought up that topic was because, like I said, when we won against the Infinity Rank player, we weren't happy. It's interesting that some people can get hyped over winning against an Infinity Rank player. Meanwhile, I do exactly the same thing and I'm not impressed. it's not even, I'm not impressed by the, actually, it kind of was that, because that player just went for the 3-pointer mind games. I was not happy with that. I wasn't, because, I do respect the game style, the play style. I wouldn't say that I completely don't respect it. I think I have to not disrespect it if I'm saying this. I think there has to be something that I don't like about it, which is true, yes. I think there has to be something that I don't respect about that playstyle for me to not be happy with it. Yeah. I think to one degree or another I didn't like his playstyle. And the way he used his stunts, I couldn't tell his emotion. Kind of felt like, I remember I think Blue Eyes tried to make a 3-pointer, and he did like a, hey, well, you know what, you tried, which is something I would say, but I feel like he said it in a more, look at you trying, well, good on you, but you're not good like me, that sort of thing. That's how I felt about his use of stunts. And when he messed up, he used the Furious Peach type, I think, or something like that. And I just sort of felt like, is this what I'm dealing with? Come on, let's just have a good game. I don't care about the ranks, let's just have a good game. Let's just imagine we're evenly matched, and we're both playing at our best, which, to be honest, I felt like we were. Just treat it as if there's no rank. We don't know each other's experience, which is, again, that's why I like Blue Eyes' surprise 3-pointers, because Blue Eyes' rank is just A. So you're just looking at Blue Eyes and thinking, oh, you think Blue Eyes is going to do anything special? And then boom, Blue Eyes barely moves and does a straight 3-pointer. He gets the shot and the other person doesn't block it because they're not expecting it. And it's just, what an A-rank player doing that? What are you? Well, I'm a dragon. That's why I like the surprise 3-pointers, because it says Blue Eyes' rank has no boundaries. Don't look at Blue Eyes' rank and say Blue Eyes is trash. Just look at Blue Eyes as your opponent and do what you need to do to stop her. Be ready for everything. Because you don't know the next time you get an E-rank player and they destroy you. Because they're not actually E-rank, they just haven't played much in the Pro League. Or they reset their rank, so it's actually really low, but they're still matches Infinity Rank players. Do you see? So, that's why I don't value the rank too much. And that's why I was sad about that player, but it just kind of felt like, again, his playstyle was quite bland, it's basic, not very dynamic, so I didn't have a good time with that. And then he didn't feel like the kind of player who respected those with a lower rank either. And we did have 2 AI players as well, so it just sort of felt like I'm playing with someone who doesn't really like that we're here. And I didn't like that. So yeah, we won against an Infinity Rank player. So cool, right? Can we actually have a good game? I was not happy with that game. You know what was a good game? The 2 games with Rohan. Those were good games. They were good games. Because he's a nice player. I mean, it helps that he's a friend. We consider him as a friend. And that makes the experience different. It makes it more fun. I think, besides the game with Tiny Tim, I think Barbara had an even funnier game than Tiny Tim's game. But besides the game with Tiny Tim, I think the 2 of the best ever basketball games we've had were with Rohan with the most fun, for me, the most fun games were with him. Because we knew him, we respected him, and he respected us, and he appreciated us, we appreciated him. If all the players felt that way about each other, it would be great. You wouldn't get people upset with other people because everyone would appreciate that each other is here. That's what we want. And we also feel like the ranks separate that as well. Because, like we said, you have an Infinity Rank player playing against an A Rank player. Instead of thinking, oh, well, we got some players. Instead it's, oh, you're just an A Rank. Why am I playing with you? I want to play with someone better than me. There's no respect there, is there? It's not really good. If you want more players to play at your level, you need to encourage that to happen. Which is the whole point. It's the whole reason why we streamed so many Blue Eye sessions within a week. We did that because we knew the basketball scene was lacking. Nod has said it himself because he said, he asked us to try and keep the community lively because for when he gets back, because he kept saying that he was getting bots. I don't know much about bots, I just know that we do get AI controlled players quite often in basketball, and that's because there's just not many people playing. But if you want people to play, you need to play to make people feel like there are other people playing. Give them a reason to play. And it's not the only reason why they should be playing, or why they should want to play. Imagine talking for so long, it cut me off. I don't know when it cut me off. Can I find out actually? I'm not sure. It's a bit annoying. I got goosebumps now. Oh no. Oh. I knew it, I didn't know, but I thought it might cut off at 3 hours. It does that sometimes. It cut off about a minute ago. That's not too bad. It cut off about 3 minutes ago. I was just talking about Infinity Rank stuff, but you knew that already. And I don't remember, just players disrespecting other players because their rank's too low. Basketball just not being very popular. Part of that maybe because they just get the AI opponents. To be fair, I felt the same way when we were playing with Blue Eyes. A lot of the time I felt like, well, we're either getting 3 points of mind games or we're just getting the AI. Which isn't neither of those are what we want. If anything, we'd just be better off playing against the AI because we can just do that. We don't have to play online. We don't have to play online to get the AI. At least we get Barbara's friends if we play offline. To me, it's not really much better playing in the Pro League. But that's only because we don't get a lot of basketball players. So what we said to ourselves is, okay, well there aren't that many players, but if we don't play, like right now we haven't played for ages. If we don't play, people won't feel like there are players. So then they just won't play. So at least by us playing, we're contributing to the formation of a community. We can't expect the community to appear out of thin air. I mean, we can, but for it to happen is unlikely. I just don't think that will happen. We need to do something to make it happen. So that's why we decided, even though we didn't feel like we'd get what we wanted by playing right then and there, we still felt like we should just play because it increases the chances of other people wanting to play, because they could see, oh look, there's still people playing basketball, let's give it a try, you know? That's what we want. And what we do is we give ourselves another incentive so that we still feel like a winner. What's that incentive? Well, we said that basketball feels like a lively sport to me. So at least if I play it, maybe it'll help me not feel so tired. So even if we just kept getting the AI or players using the 3-pointer mind games, at least we're getting something out of it. That was our logic. Yeah, because we're saying if Infinity Rank players are complaining that they're getting A rank players, not even just them, even the S rank players will complain that they're getting A rank players for two reasons. Maybe two reasons, among many other reasons why that could be. One being, if you win against an A rank player, as an S rank player, you're not going to get as much rank because your rank is higher than theirs already. And the other is because their rank is lower, they, on the surface, may have less relative skill to you, and so therefore you're better than them, or you believe that you're better than them, and so you look down on them with disregard. You disregard them. You disregard them because then they seem like they're not as good, because their rank's lower, and also because their rank's lower, it makes it harder for you to reach the Infinity Rank. So there's an extra reason for them to be an enemy to you. But we want to remove that. I just don't think that's good. But if you're going to complain that, there aren't enough Infinity Rank players, you need to brew them. You need to link up with players, see who's playing basketball, or just play basketball, and see the players there, encourage them to keep playing. Because they may not be at your level now, but if you allow them to improve, maybe they'll reach your level later. Again, it's like, if you're just going to sit there and say, if you're going to say to an A rank player, you're not worth our time, how's that going to make them feel? Is it going to make the A rank player feel like playing? Think about how I felt when I was playing with that one Infinity Rank player. I didn't feel like playing. I didn't feel like playing again, because I didn't feel like that person enjoyed us playing with them. We didn't feel like we were worth their time, and they didn't feel like they were worth my time, because they just did the 3-pointer mind games, and they weren't very nice to us. Regardless of whether we won or lost, again, I've said this before, there'll be times where I might actually want to lose, just so that I can, just so that the other player feels better. I feel like if I win and then use a clap stamp, they will treat them with disrespect. They may think that, like I said, oh well, you still tried, but I'm better than you. That's not what I mean when I use those terms. But they may feel like that's the reason why I used it, and so therefore they may treat it negatively. Whereas if I lose and I use the clap stamp, then maybe it won't carry that vibe. But there'll be times where I want to lose so that the other person doesn't feel bad. It's just silly, isn't it? It shouldn't have to be that way. Treating the other players lower ranked than you with disrespect doesn't encourage more people to play. And if what you want is more people to play at your level, then you need to support even the worst of players. Because when you support them, you make them feel like the game is fun to play. If the game is fun to play, they're more likely to keep playing. If they're more likely to keep playing, they will gain experience. And if they gain experience, they may learn the techniques that you learn. So irrespective of their rank, they will be on your level. And so you could play with friends lobby. So you could play in a play with friends session with that person and have a good game with them, even if their rank is E, because they haven't been playing with the rank on, but they've been playing because it's been fun for them, and through that experience they've learned so many techniques to make them reach your level, so you can have a good game with them. And so then at that point, if they were to actually play in the Pro League, their rank would just keep going up, because the game has yet to see how good they are. So the more they play, the more they rank up, because the players they're playing with aren't as good as them, until you reach the point where the players they're playing with do match them. Which makes it more interesting that Infinity Rank isn't just Infinity Rank, it's Infinity Rank with a number. So even if you reach the Infinity Rank, there's still a band within an Infinity Rank that matches you. So you have like Infinity Rank 30, for example. You might have Infinity Rank 10. You might be Infinity Rank 10. Your rank is still Infinity, but it's only 10. So like the band 30 Infinity Rank players may still be better than you. They may have more experience than you, but your rank is still Infinity. I just think that's interesting, because it still shows that there's sure there is an end, but there isn't much of an end. Like, it feels endless, the amount of ranks that the game can use to pair you up with appropriate opponents. So you'll be Infinity 10, and you'll get other players who are Infinity 10, as long as there are enough of them. You'll get other players who are Infinity 10, because that's your skill level. Your relative skill level is Infinity 10. And then when you learn more skills, you got to Infinity 11. Not because you're trying to get to Infinity 11, but because you're gaining experience, and that experience means you have more skills now. Well, not necessarily, but from the experience you can gain more skills, and when you then play in the Pro League with those new skills, the game realizes, oh, actually you're better now, so let's increase your rank. That's what I said. Yeah. If you want more players to play at your level, you need to encourage them. You don't need to encourage them, but you can help yourself get those players by encouraging them. If you want to encourage them, the last thing you need to do, I think, is to say, A-rank players, ew, that's not good to say that, because how does it make the A-rank player feel? Like I said, look, if I'm gonna constantly go up against players using the 3-pointer mind games, and to be fair, the 3-pointer mind games is worth getting used to. It would still be nice to have different playstyles than just the 3-pointer mind games, but it's not like I'm good against the 3-pointers. That's still a thing I need to learn to be good against. So it's still good practice. It's just, it would be nice to get different styles as well. It would be nice. But if I'm going to get a bunch of players who they're not happy with me playing with them, I won't want to play with them. They don't respect me as a player. I won't want to play with them. I'd rather play on my own. As you've seen, and I've said, I wanted to finish the Barbara Bowling series so that we don't have to play with those players, because we didn't like them. We didn't feel respected by them, and we didn't respect the way they were behaving, not just towards us, but towards others as well, sometimes. So we just said, I want to get this done so I can go. That's all you want. Because what you want is to encounter lots of players, because that's what makes up the game. If you don't want the AI, you need to encourage a healthy community so that players will want to play and you can play with them. That's what you want. So I think that's also important. Get people to play with you. Again, that's why we stream, because there might be other players who just don't play because they feel like the way that they play is different and not appreciated. Maybe they want to play with characters like Barbara. Maybe playing with characters like Barbara makes the game more fun for them, as it does for me, but they don't feel like they can because they feel like they'll be disrespected. So they might play with their own character, but as it was for me, when I played with just Dani, it didn't last long. I'd focused too much on the scores, and every time I kept getting 9 pins, I get frustrated, and then I'd stop playing for months, which is probably why it took Dani so long to get 300 for the first time, because I got 279, but then after that, didn't feel like earning the items because I didn't feel a reason to. It's funny because the sportsmates gave me a reason to, and then in terms of just playing the sport, didn't feel like I had the time to appreciate whenever I didn't get the stuff I wanted. In terms of strikes and things like that, I didn't feel like there was a way to appreciate it, so then I just didn't. And maybe for some people playing as funny characters, and even Blue Eyes, that can make it more fun. But I don't feel like doing that because other players shoot me down for it. And what our streams are there to do is help inspire people to play the game. And not just to play the game, but to play it their way as well. Play the game in a way that makes them feel like they're having fun. Even things like Abby's game, we didn't make up Abby's game to inspire, we did, but it wasn't scripted, it was just in the moment. Abby's here, Abby's got an idea now. Abby's idea is, I can see someone's playing bad. I think that's what it was. You saw someone was playing bad, and Abby said, you know what, it's fine if you're playing bad, because we're going to play a game, and if you win my game, you're actually the true winner. It doesn't matter if you got the least amount of points, you're still the true winner. So let's see if you can win my game, says Abby. And someone might watch that and think, what? That's fun. It's like I can do whatever I want, but as long as I get 3 strikes at the end, I'm still the true winner. That's awesome. So then it makes them feel more inclined to actually play, like they feel like, sure they might lose, but then they could win in another way. That's what we're here to encourage, like a better, more thriving community. People who play in different ways, in ways that they feel are fun. And our way of playing the game helps, trigger those different ways of fun. Because a lot of the time, it's just, if you don't get a strike, then it's bad. That's how it felt with Dani. But it's different. When we had Fumiko and Emily, they played so bad. They really played bad. I don't think either of them got first place once. Which is funny because Emily's left-handed. Didn't bowl very well. My left hand at the time, a bit better now, but and then Fumiko was doing what we call Fumiko spin. The Fumiko spin, I was not good at it. Although it's funny because Fumiko spin, you have to use it sometimes for some of the special links. If you can't Fumiko spin, you're not getting a strike. And that's bad. If you want to win, Yeah, you need to learn how to Fumiko swim. But it's fine because it's Fumiko. It's fine because it's Fumiko. Fumiko wants to do it like this, so Fumiko's doing like this, and Fumiko doesn't care. She already established that when she played football and kept losing. Fumiko doesn't care about losing. It's the other players that make it more awkward for her. But she doesn't care. She just wants to try what she wants to do. That's what Fumiko wanted to do. Oh, gosh. So those streams I remember my sister was there. Apparently she said something, but I couldn't hear what she was saying because I had headphones on. You know what? I think she said, "Why is it so hot in here?" And I actually feel hot in here right now. It's probably because I've been talking for so long and the window is not very wide open. I'll have those goosebumps. So great. Get this laptop charged again. That's also not helping because, you know, the charger, the electrical energy also produces heat. Thermal energy. So that's also going to heat the room up as well. Yeah, Fumiko just played bad. But that was okay because it was all in the theme of Fumiko. Like we said, Fumiko wanted to do this, so this is what she's doing. I know I'm not good at bowling this way, but it's fine because this is what Fumiko wants to do. So I'm going to do it for Fumiko. That it's like, okay, we lost, but we did Fumiko's thing. So Fumiko still got to do what she wanted. So that's good. We won. We're a winner because we did Fumiko's thing. It's about finding ways to win without taking away losing. We still need to respect that losing is a part of the game, but it's still good to find other ways to win. And that's what Abby's game inspires as well. Yeah, you lost, but you still won in another way. You know, you could have won. It's just, that's it. That is it. We've spoken about so many different things over the past 3 hours and a half. 3 hours and 20 minutes, by the way. Had a very long discussion about ranks. I did something similar for a discussion about bots. I never released that video because it felt really scrambled. I'm sure I still have it though. No, I don't. I do use on the hard drive. External hard drive. Yes. Barbara and ranks. Here we're just talking about ranks. You want to encourage ranks. Sorry, ranks. If you, I think we should start from the top. So what? You don't need to work for the ranks. You know, have we really talked about what we mean by that? What is working for the rank? Working for the rank? What do I mean when I say that? When I say that, I'm talking about those players who do their road to Infinity Rank runs. What they're actually doing is just to do what they need to do to increase their rank, which is by playing. But they're also trying to reach the rank. Which is weird because the rank is trying to reach them. The game is assessing their performances and it's trying to get their rank to reach to match their performances. But meanwhile, the player is trying to make their performances match. No, they're not really trying to give their performances to each other. They just want their rank to go up. They're trying to reach rank, but their rank is trying to reach them. Like I said, it's a very odd relationship between the player and the rank. But then of course, the rank that the game associates with the player isn't really the rank that the player wants. So then the player then goes, or they try to work for the rank. Yes, by playing more, but also by going directly into the thing that increases the rank, which is play globally sessions. You can build experiences in play globally sessions, play with friends sessions, play globally sessions with the rank turned off. But what they'll do is they'll play globally with the rank turned on. They're going to play globally with the rank turned on because that immediately has an impact on their rank. This is what we mean by players working towards the rank. They see the rank as something that they need to do something to get to, which is true indirectly, but where it gets weird is actually the rank is trying to reach their ability. So the player is trying to reach the rank and the rank is trying to reach the player. They're trying to reach each other. But what's interesting is only one of them gets it right, and that's the rank. The rank reaches the player, but the player doesn't reach the rank that they want. In fact, it's funny because the rank that wants the player isn't the same rank that the player wants, which is really funny. The rank that wants the player is the rank that the player has. More particularly, is the rank the player has at the point where they start losing games. When their rank sort of starts to even out at a consistent area. For example, Barbara's rank's always been between S0 and S6 from the moment she reached S. It's never dropped below S0. It's never gone below S6. That is Barbara's reach. Now Barbara doesn't really want to rank, so it doesn't really apply to Barbara. If you were to talk about me, you could say there have been times where I wanted the Infinity Rank. So let's use that as an example. So the rank that wants Barbara is the S rank, but the rank that I want for Barbara is the Infinity Rank. The two ranks don't meet, so it's a problem, isn't there? Yeah, there's a problem now. There's also the other problem is to do with what the rank actually represents, which, as we said, is relative skill or relative experience. So if you don't have the relative experience to increase your rank, the rank that you want is irrelevant, because the rank that wants you is never going to be that rank until you increase your experience, which you do by playing, yes, but then the players will often go into Pro League sessions to get their rank up, which doesn't necessarily happen straight away, because just by playing one game doesn't give them the experience that they need for their rank to go up. It's not even like that. I don't like phrasing like that. It's not the experience that they need for their rank to go up. It's more the amount of experience that changes what rank wants the person. So it's like, if Barbara gains more skills, the S5 rank doesn't want Barbara anymore. The S6 rank wants Barbara. And of course, Barbara doesn't care about what rank she has, so she doesn't care. And I want the feeling of I wanted. I'd say right now, like Barbara, I don't care too much. But let's just use the past tense, for example. So let's say I wanted the Infinity rank. My rank doesn't either. Barbara's rank doesn't match the rank that I want, but Barbara's rank has now the rank that wants Barbara is now different because Barbara's gaining experience that the new rank wants. It's like the rank S6 wants a certain amount of experience. And when Barbara gains that amount of experience, that rank now wants Barbara, and so it gravitates to Barbara, and then Barbara now has it. I know it's a metaphor, but it's how it works. It's the reason why Barbara's rank is currently S, because based on Barbara's current ability, rank S wants Barbara. Barbara doesn't want the S rank. Maybe she wants it for me, but even then, I don't think she's that fast because Barbara knows better. Barbara doesn't want the S rank, but the S rank wants Barbara because Barbara's experience matches the conditions for that rank, so to speak. And so that's the rank wants Barbara. But a lot of players want the rank, and so as I described, they will work towards it, often directly by playing. But what I'm saying, when I say you don't need to work for the rank, I'm saying you don't have to play with the intention of gaining experience to increase your rank, because just by playing, you will gain experience. You will gain experiences that higher ranks will want. So, just by playing the game, we've seen it from Former Sky. I mean, I haven't seen, his training if he does it, but he's been ranking up because he has an experience. He has an amount of experience that the higher ranks want. So, the high rank B is looking at Former Sky thinking, look, this guy got a turkey. Dude, I want you. So now he's rank B. And then B plus will want him. And then S will want him. Or maybe A. I don't know. I mean, he beat Perry and Max up. So when he ranks up to when he ranks past B plus, he'll probably get to the high A's. Or he'll be at S0 or something. He'll be quite high. He'll be higher than what Blue Eyes was. Because remember, Blue Eyes never faced any S-rank players before B+. That explains why her rank, which is A25. But Sky, we just mentioned 2 S-rank, and there's others that he's faced. I mean, he's faced Yellow, but he didn't win against Yellow. That's besides the point. He surpassed S-rank players, so his rank, S-rank will want him, is what I'm saying. And that's fine. He doesn't need to work for the S-rank. And it's funny because he kind of feels like he does, but he doesn't. When I say kind of, I don't know, because I'm not sure if I fully understand him, but I'm still trying to learn more about him as a person as I watch his streams. But he doesn't need to work for the rank. He just needs to play and have fun, and the rank will want him because while he's playing, he's gaining experiences that those ranks want. and you might hear me say sometimes, keep playing, the Infinity Rank will be ready for you, or you'll be ready. It's funny, I'll say you'll be ready for the Infinity Rank. I'm not sure if I say that, or if I actually say the reverse, which is the Infinity Rank will be ready for you. If I say it that way, I think that's good, because that works with this metaphor. The more you play, eventually that rank will be there saying, I want you, and then you'll have it. So, you don't need to work with the rank. The rank will work for you. What do I mean when I say the rank will work for you? I guess it's like, well, the rank has to get to you, right? I mean, it's a metaphor, but you play the game. And like the S rank hasn't reached yet, it's still B+. But that rank wants you. So every time you win a game, you get closer and closer to that rank, because that rank, is it you getting closer, or is it that rank is getting closer to you? Both are technically true, because as you're rising, that rank is, that rank is S, and your meter's getting very, very close to S. So the distance between you and S is small, so that the rank S is closer to you, using the S rank as the subject instead of you. You can say you're closer to the S rank, but you can also say, you get the idea. You also say the S rank is closer to you. And the S rank is doing its job by making itself available to you. And the other job that the S rank does is it gives you other players that are S rank. Not always, but that's its primary function. So the rank does actually do a job for you. The rank does work for you. You don't need to work for the rank. Yeah, that is actually the premise. There's all these other things that we talked about, such as inspiring other players to play at your level, encouraging good sportsmanship so that other players feel like playing with you and with others, and therefore if they continue to play, they continue to gain experiences that can match your level, and then when that happens, you can compete with those players. And that's related to the rank, because those players that you've been encouraging, their rank is likely to be lower than yours, maybe higher as well, but there'll be a lot more. I mean, when you're rank S, there'll be a lot more players below you than above you, and that is actually the point of Barbara. Because Barbara, she uses the stamps. Okay, she uses a lot of the clap stamp, but that's the point. She's encouraging the other players, saying she's encouraging the other players to play well by saying, "Great job, guys! You all scored something. You all made it here to the competition. Thanks for playing." That's what Barbara says. And Barbara uses the stamps. There's so many other players who don't use stamps, and it feels quite empty, and I feel it. That's one of the reasons why I don't like playing online, because it just feels like I'm on my own. And it's worse when, playing as a sportsmate, which feels controversial, even though it shouldn't. Well, I don't think it should be controversial. My phone vibrated. I don't feel like it should be controversial, it feels that way. And when everyone's quiet, it doesn't help me feel like playing with those other players. It's not like you have to be talkative, but some people feel more encouraged to play online when the online players interact with you. Yeah. I think there's one more thing I'll say. And then I might actually wrap it up. Here's what I'll say. I created a story featuring Tilly. Tilly's the only character that you've seen from this story. But only by technicality. Every other character is either original or they're like a remix of a sportsman. And in this story, it's very similar to how Tilly meets Susana in my storyline. Tilly meets Susana, and Susana introduces Tilly to Smucko's school and gets her to enjoy the competition. Meet all of Susana's friends and feel welcome and have a good time playing sports. Susana is the party guardian. She loves to party and she acts as Tilly's guardian. In this story, instead, you have a character very similar to Maria, since Maria and Tilly look alike, and she introduces Tilly to the sports center, the one that this Maria clone goes to, and Tilly meets all of Marie. That is meant to be her name, Marie, instead of Maria. But I'll just call her Maria. She meets all of Maria's friends, and they get into the bowling club. I mean, Tilly's sport is golf, as you know. It's like her main one is golf and basketball. Those are her favourite ones. But you get to the bowling club. I have two important characters here for the bowling club. At least right now. There's several characters that will be important, but there are two in particular. Now, disclaimer, as I've already said, I don't really know how PowerAnnie plays. I just know that she's good. There is a character who, in some way, I haven't got like a proper design for her. In some way, she resembles PowerAnnie. In particular, in the way that she's very good. It's like this player is ranked number 1. The best player in the club is this PowerAnnie clone. And Tilly knows that she's ranked number 1. It's funny, we talk about ranks here. And so, Tilly wants to get better. And she goes up to the PowerAnnie clone and asks for advice. And what does the PowerAnnie clone say? The PowerAnnie clone says to Tilly, if you want to get better at bowling, I'm not the person you need to talk to. You need to talk to that person over there. And that person is a Susana clone. Remember what we said about Susana? We had the example of Susana and Giovanna as the two kinds of Infinity Rank player. Giovanna being the one who just does what she knows. They both do what they know, but Giovanna's technique's a lot more simplistic. She just does the same thing 12 times and gets a perfect score. Which this PowerAnnie clone does more of. She does that. So she's ranked 1 because she uses really simple techniques that she knows how to use. And then the Susana clone's ranked quite low. In fact, probably just like Susana, because as I said about Susana when we see her in my content, she bowls however she wants, but she doesn't always get strikes. She does quite well, but she doesn't play as well as PowerAnnie. In terms of her final scores, that will be lower. But the PowerAnnie clone acknowledges that Susana is a lot more, or the Susana clone is more ambitious than she is. So if you want to learn how to, or if Tilly wants to learn how to improve her skill, the PowerAnnie clone recommends that Tilly talks to the Susana clone and not the PowerAnnie clone, because all the PowerAnnie clone is going to be able to do is teach Tilly how to bowl in one specific style, and that's it. Whereas the Susana clone does so many different things, and she will, because she's like Susana, as you've seen with Susana in my recordings, she's very outgoing and happy and positive. I mean, that's the relationship Susana has with Tilly. So the Susana clone will be there to encourage Tilly to do wacky stuff that may not seem like it'll work, and get Tilly to keep doing it so much that she then learns how to do it, and that's now a skill that she has, and that's a skill that she would have over the PowerAnnie clone. So imagine a situation where it's the special ones, which is quite funny because PowerAnnie does struggle with the special ones a bit, and you know, Tilly's mastered this technique, but the PowerAnnie clone hasn't mastered, because the PowerAnnie clone just does the same thing every time. What you end up with is Tilly actually surpasses her. Remember, this is the person that Tilly wanted to go to ask for help, because she's ranked #1. But now Tilly's actually outclassed her, because she went to the Susana clone and started bowling with him. Even though the Susana clone was ranked quite low. And you know, could you imagine the look on Tilly's face when the PowerAnnie clone says, go talk to Susana? Because Tilly knows, but Susana, she's nowhere near as good as she. But PowerAnnie knows better than that. That is the story. That is part of the story, and the story's about Maria and Tilly together. So it's very likely that they do stuff together as well. But you'll have that moment with the PowerAnnie clone and the Susana clone, and Tilly learning so much more from the seemingly worst player, but only seemingly worse because their rank, the Susana clone's rank, is lower. And that's where we talk about true ability versus relative ability. The rank still only shows the relative ability, not the true ability of a player. And it's only the more elite players. It's funny, isn't it? It's actually quite funny again saying this. It's only the more elite players that will notice a good player that just hasn't reached their potential yet. Which is, it's funny because I say that about Fumiko, who, you know, like, he believes he'll get to S, and he knows he'll get there. But like, he might look at a special and think, what? I can't do this. And I'm thinking, what do you mean you can't? You can do it. Look at what you just did. That's crazy. I don't even know how you're doing that. Well, I do know, but it's definitely not how I would do it, because he bowls different. And it's great to see that he understands the way that he bowls. That's the making of a great bowler. And to say this in this society sounds bad, but as a player who I feel is more experienced than him, it's interesting how I can spot the good player in him. And to be honest, it's not even like that, because again, like we said about PowerAnnie so many times, I watch her bowl and I'm saying, she's amazing. We see her get eliminated so many times in the first round, but we've seen that with Barbara as well. And we've seen it with I, and etc. But it doesn't mean PowerAnnie's bad. It also doesn't mean PowerAnnie's worse than us. Because, like I said, I'm watching her bowl and I'm thinking, she is good. She is good. And maybe again, going back to what Rohan said, maybe he's watching me bowl and he's thinking, that's what he's thinking. He's thinking, really, this guy's just S3. This guy is good. This guy is good. I'm sorry, I don't care what his rank is. This guy is good. Maybe that's what Rohan was saying. That's how I feel about PowerAnnie. PowerAnnie is very good. When you have the experience, that's what I'm saying. When you have the experience, you know when a player is good just by watching them play. Watching them, seeing what they do. PowerAnnie likes to take her time. And that's a very important part of bowling, because you need to understand what it is that you're trying to do. She gives herself that time. And I've always admired that about PowerAnnie. Angel does it as well. He takes his time. A lot of the S-rank players do that. I noticed they actually take a while to bowl. Sometimes they don't, that's when they know what they're doing, but a lot of the time they do take their time. I'm thinking, oh no, it's PowerAnnie again. What is she doing? She always takes her time. That's interesting. Oh, here she goes. Wow, look at that. What? Well, that's the thing. You got all these other players rushing, and you just got PowerAnnie here. It's just taking it. She hasn't even bowled yet. Some people have finished. They've thrown the ball twice, and we're just waiting for PowerAnnie to bowl once. I'm just thinking, okay, what is she gonna do? Here she goes. What? You took all that time, and that's what you did. Wow. And that's the other thing, because she takes her time, we actually get to watch her more. So that's also what, that's what brought our attention to her. Besides the fact that we just kept getting her anyway, without even trying. She's a dedicated bowler, and that's the other thing we really like about her. She keeps playing. She keeps playing, and she's one player that we keep recognizing because we keep getting her. Many sportsmates have had her. I don't think Julie had her. Abby had her. Misaki was the first to get her. Chika had her. Rin had her. Of course, Barbara had her, but I'm sure some other people had her as well. I just can't remember. I just know Misaki, Chika, Abby, and Rin definitely, and Barbara definitely have had her. Oh, Blue Eyes and Ghost Julie, they've also had PowerAnnie as well. Just keep getting her because she's dedicated. She has so many hours in the game, and bowling is her main sport. She is so perfectly themed. PowerAnnie, she had the bowling crown. She doesn't have it now, but she used to have it. And then she always took her time, and she gave us great bowling. And that's what we're here to see. We're not here to see Infinity Rank players, we don't care. We're just here to see good bowlers. And yes, Infinity Rank players are likely to be good bowlers, but not exclusively. Look at PowerAnnie, her rank's never been Infinity. Well, unless she has other accounts, I don't know, but I've never seen her rank as that. But she plays so good. She plays really good. Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, that's why I mentioned her, because of the character that's based on her. Imagine all the characters that I have for this storyline. The only one that's based on an actual player that we've encountered is for PowerAnnie. we've had Luoma, we've had Angel, but I haven't come up with characters for this TV story that represent the first character, the first actual player to be put into a character's PowerAnnie. I think that's quite. I don't know if special is the right word, but it just shows how iconic PowerAnnie is, at least to me anyway. To be so, like I said, iconic that you're the first person that comes to mind for character design. I'd say that's quite honourable. She is in my list of honourable mentions, to be fair. But let's see. We honour PowerAnnie. I think she's honourable. That's how cool she is. And that's another thing, because it's like, she doesn't have the Infinity Rank, but we still think she's cool. You don't need the rank to be cool. And like we said before, we feel like people feel like they need to have the rank to be recognised. But PowerAnnie doesn't have Infinity Rank, and we regard her as the best. She is the best player, in my eyes. I don't know if maybe BK's better, but I like BK because he feels mysterious. The mysterious S9 player. Gee, his rank's gone down since, but I imagine that's because he just does different stuff. And I didn't mention that about your rank being relative. It's relative to whatever techniques you use. So again, if you have like an S9 because you use Giovanna's technique and you start playing like Susana, which you're not used to doing, your rank will go down, which is what happened with Fumiko. So maybe that's the case with him. Maybe even PowerAnnie. Maybe PowerAnnie has the experience of an Infinity Rank playing, but she does different stuff. So then her rank never reaches it because she's not consistent enough. But she will be soon. How soon, I don't know, but she keeps playing, she'll make it. She will make it because she's PowerAnnie. That's how it goes. But it's not just her. Like I said, Sky, if he plays enough, I don't know if he has time. He plays so many games as well, so he'd really have to have the time. But he loves the game, and that's really important. Like I said, you love the game. It feels fun for you. You feel more inclined to play it. The more you play it, the more experience you get. The more experience, the more experience you have, the higher ranks want you. Well, that's it. I believe that is as much as I'm going to discuss for now. It's time for me to sleep. It is 9 PM, except it's actually 9 AM, and my sleep schedule is inverted by 12 hours. It's not, but like if you were to have an ideal daily routine, maybe go to sleep at 9 PM. But I'm doing the opposite. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this discussion. It's going to be very long to edit. But I'm doing this for you guys because I care about you guys. You guys are great, and I want to help you. So that is it. See you next time.